Yes. Okay. Si te llegó por correo, pero bueno, te la reenvío.
No, pero es para transmitir ahorita.
Ahí está. Ya. Okay. Creo que ya podemos empezar.
Sí, yo también creo que no.
¿Ah?
No, que ya lo vi.
Tenemos un segundito que viene otra persona y ya. ¿Qué creen? What? Yeah. Thanks. Did you want and send you by WhatsApp the link? Entonces, do you want to see the presentation? Oh, yeah, bueno. Yeah. Sí.
Ah, ok.
How many people are watching it? 4 people? Yeah. That is the... Okay.
Ya está comenzado a ver Daniel.
Yo estuve llamando al ingeniero Reyes la semana pasada, pero no pude comunicarme.
Yo recibí eso y estaba con tiempo.
Y el celular que tengo de no sale efectivo. No sé si te lo cambió o como yo cambié de teléfono. Entonces, no está actividad. Tampoco. Dile. Entonces, buenos días. Vamos a empezar con la primera sesión de cursos que vamos a empezar a estar dando de los productos que manejamos. Manejamos seccionamiento, equipos de medición de calidad de energía, manejamos también lo que son transformadores, bombas especiales de agua. O sea, tenemos una gama de productos grandes, lo que son PLC, HMI, el clima, todo lo que tiene que ver para los que son fabricantes de tableros, personas que les interesa tener un conocimiento de cómo se está manejando la energía ahorita en estos tiempos y todo eso. Vamos a empezar con esa serie de entrenamiento. Hoy iniciamos con equipos de medición de calidad de energía y transferencias de carga. Aquí los dejo con el ingeniero David. Él habla inglés, pero como es francés, su traducción, su inglés se entiende bastante fácil.
Okay, well, I'm David. Nice to meet you. I don't speak Spanish at all. That's very bad, but with the strong commitment of Grupo MCB, he's going to do the translation for all of you. And all the questions to Osvaldo. We start with the company overview, then we go through the products, and then we're going to play with some toys. Should I go there? Okay. Do you translate?
Ok. Cualquier duda, cualquier información que necesiten de la participación de David, me lo hacen saber y yo se lo transmito a David como tal. Bueno, si es necesario, ¿no? Ok, continúe.
Or you can switch.
Problema técnico. Give me a second because I have
Yeah.
a problem here. Okay.
Okay. Well, if you never heard about Socomec, Socomec is an international company. We have presence in more than 80 countries, directly with subsidiaries or with distributors. Socomec is a family-owned company, and we invest more than 10% in new development for new products every year. By being a family-owned company, there is a lot of confidence that the company will continue to grow and that they invest in products, customers, and people that are working with Socomec. So very strong commitment. It's very nice to work for that type of company.
Ok. Lo que viene diciendo que Socom es una empresa familiar que ha ido creciendo con el tiempo. Perdón, parece que se me fue un poco. Can you repeat? Sorry,
We invest 10%.
Ok, que ellos invierten el 10% de todo lo que es la ganancia que vienen haciendo anualmente y desarrollando equipos constantemente.
And the focus is made on customers, innovation, and people.
Y se enfocan directamente en los clientes, en innovación y en las personas. Okay.
That's all. Yeah. Summary, we will almost achieve 100 years in 2022, so in 3 years. We are around 3,300 people, employees, 10 manufacturing sites. Most of them are in Europe, Asia, and also North Africa. We achieve around $600 million as a revenue and 10% in R&D and around 28 subsidiaries. For Mexico, the subsidiary is in North America, in Boston.
Okay. Bueno, la empresa ya va a cumplir 100 años de fundada. Tiene alrededor de 3.200 empleados y 10 plantas en lo que es en el norte de África, Europa y Asia, ¿correcto? Y bueno, están generando anualmente aproximadamente 573 millones de euros o de dólares. Y bueno, y hacen una reinversión del 10% de lo que vienen manejando de lo que es la parte de ganancia. Okay.
We have 4 divisions of business application, whatever. The first one, and which is quite significant for Socomec, is power switching. It is all the different products that are related to protect the goods and the people in the electrical distribution network.
Okay. Bueno, que manejan 4 divisiones. Entre ellas inicialmente está lo que es la parte de seccionamiento y se enfocan en la protección de los bienes y de personas y de todo lo que es la parte de la red eléctrica.
The second one, which is power monitoring, both devices is made to improve the energy efficiency of something. It might be industrial plant, it might be offices, whatever. And the purpose of that is when you want to increase or improve the energy efficiency, the first things to do is to add some equipment to monitor. And Socomec is manufacturer of monitoring equipment.
Okay. Que la segunda parte es la parte de monitoreo que ellos desarrollan o vienen comercializando. Es importante más que todo para las oficinas, para las industrias, para residenciales, ver cuando ya no tenemos constantemente el mismo consumo o tenemos algún problema eléctrico, bueno, contar con un equipo de monitoreo que nos puede abrir las puertas y conocer cuál es el desperfecto o el problema que estamos teniendo en ese momento.
The third one, power conversion, is all the equipment related to UPSs. So in an installation, when you have critical loads, you don't want to have any backup time or any blackouts. And so you need to install a UPS on top of the product. Socomec is the 5th largest UPS manufacturer worldwide.
Okay. La tercera parte es lo que es la parte de conversión de energía. Y bueno, viene hablando de lo que es UPS como tal directamente. Y en esta sección son el quinto fabricante más grande del mundo en lo que es la parte de UPS.
And then expert services. So by providing high value equipment, all the equipment, they require some maintenance or some support for the commissioning. And so we have a complete team, around 500 engineers that are on the field to support customers to make the installation, make the configuration, and over the time, make the maintenance of all the equipment.
Y bueno, en lo último tienen la parte de servicio donde tienen más de 500 técnicos que hacen lo que es la parte de instalación, mantenimiento y en muchos de los casos configuración de los equipos para sus clientes.
The markets where we are focused on. The first one is data centers. That is a very strong one for Socomec. We are providing a lot in transfer switches, UPSs, and energy monitoring. It's to make sure that the data center is on top of availability and that you don't have any downtime. Healthcare, again, this is a very critical load application. Emergency room, you don't want to have a blackout for a few seconds. Energy, that one is more about nuclear power points, power plants, gas power plants. And so we supply many components as well.
Okay. Bueno, que en lo que es la parte de data center, Socome es especialista en lo que es la parte de seguridad, control y viabilidad de los equipos. Y bueno, que ellos manejan una serie de productos, sobre todo, ¿entendí? Plantas nucleares o
Nuclear power plants.
plantas nucleares. Y bueno, y que ellos se mantienen en lo que es la parte de la seguridad para estos equipos.
And also, in terms of market, infrastructure, industry, and buildings, where you always need some products to protect the people and the goods, but also to improve the efficiency of the installation. On the building, we are very strong in offices, malls, and plants. So offices and malls is that you want to separate the usage of the energy between all the different areas. For plants, is you want to make sure that your installation is efficient and you can do also some predictive maintenance on equipment.
Okay. Bueno, en lo que es la parte de industria y en la parte de edificios, dividen las secciones para ver lo que es la parte de los consumos de energía y todo eso. Y en la parte de edificios también cuentan con la parte de seccionamiento, ¿ya? Bueno, como equipos como uno de los que vamos a mostrar ahora para ver la eficiencia y lo que se puede tener con estos equipos.
Yeah. Mexico, we have distributor with Grupo MCB, and then we manage North America directly from Boston.
Okay. Bueno, aquí en México los distribuidores somos nosotros, Grupo MCB, y en la parte de Estados Unidos los representan ellos directamente de Boston.
So all the support for Mexico is done directly from Boston, so we don't have any time difference. It's not difficult if we need to travel in a very limited period of time.
Okay. Que cualquier asesoría técnica mantenemos el mismo horario y va a ser muy fácil la comunicación con nosotros a la hora que necesitemos soporte técnico del personal de Socomec.
Very important one is that Socomec has his own laboratory, so testing laboratory. It's the second largest in terms of power in Europe. The first one is Schneider Electric. $1 billion company, they are huge. But the second one is Socomec. So it's very important for us that we make the promotion of the laboratory, because that one will demonstrate our performances to design quality products, high performances, and also that we are on top in terms of engineering.
Okay. Ellos manejan el segundo laboratorio más grande de Europa, donde tienen la segunda capacidad más alta en voltaje para hacer pruebas de laboratorio. Él comenta que el primero es Schneider, pero realmente como que no tiene mucho uso. Y este sí está constantemente probando equipos. La verdad, bueno, tuve la oportunidad de conocerlo y vi las pruebas destructivas que le hacen a los equipos y es impresionante.
As an example, this picture, this is the turbine when we want to do some tests on short circuit. That turbine is coming from a gas power plant. And with that turbine, which is like the size of this room, we can make short circuits up to 100 kA.
Okay, bueno, que cuenta con una turbina que trabaja con gas y que aproximadamente el tamaño de la turbina es el tamaño de este cuerpo. How many power have the turbine?
100 kiloamps.
Tiene alrededor de 1000 amperios. No, 100.000 amperios. No.
100 kiloamperes.
100 kilómetros.
It's a big one.
Yes.
And we do tests for Socomec products when we develop, and also on a daily basis, we have to continuously do some tests, but also for our partners or competitors. ABB, Schneider, they went into our lab to do some tests.
Bueno, eso sí que bueno, que empresas como ABB y otras así hacen las pruebas en el laboratorio de Socomec.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
Yeah. We can go to the diaries.
Yeah.
Diaries. Questions on Socomec?
It's clear for us. Where are you based?
In France?
France.
Okay, yeah, the headquarters is in France. So you have the border in between France and Germany. So we are 30 kilometers from Germany, near Strasbourg. It's very good for white wine and food.
Good cheese also.
The cheese is not that bad now. It's good, but the food is great, and the wine.
Okay.
The white one, which is with a lot of sugar, very sweet, and some sparkling as well.
Okay. Fine.
It's a very nice place. Sorry. Yeah, second until open the
In the US, we started the subsidiary back in 2007, so 12 years ago. And now, last year, we reached almost $30 million only by supplying equipment. So it means everything was manufactured overseas, and we were supplying in North America. Socomec has a strong commitment to growth in USA, North America, so it includes also Mexico. And so what the group has done is they invest in different companies to do some external growth. And now we are also manufacturing in North America. We have 4 manufacturing plants. One is about transformers, very high efficiency, like more than 90% efficiency. The second one is about some meters. It's a cost-effective meters, mostly for OEMs. There is a third one, which is on the energy storage. So energy storage is a very growing market that we anticipate to have like some big revenues in the next 5 years. And so the companies that we acquired, they are making inverters. And the fourth one is a switching company that makes disconnect, but knife edge disconnect. So Socomec, for the next 2 to 3 years, we anticipate so coming from $30 million last year to $100 million in the next 2 years, 2 to 3 years. So big growth in North America, so Canada, USA, and Mexico with the support of Grupo LCD. It's very important for us. Okay, let's talk about energy efficiency and power monitoring. A bit of culture. Back 25 years ago, when someone wanted to do some monitoring, they were in need of a voltmeter, amp meter, frequency meter, kilowatt hour meter, etc. So it was many devices, all they were standalone, taking a lot of space in the electrical cabinet.
Bueno, que hace 25 años se usaba que por lo menos había un equipo para medir voltaje, uno para frecuencia, uno para corriente, totalmente separados, y bueno, y ocupaba mucho espacio en los gabinetes eléctricos.
And our CEO now, back in 25 years ago, was the head of our engineering. And he had the idea to concentrate all the devices into a single device, which in fact Socomec invented the power monitoring devices. We are the first one who did that in the world.
Que posteriormente a eso los unieron todos en un solo equipo y fue Socomec quien inventó el primer equipo de medición de calidad de energía que tenía todos esos puntos en un solo bloque.
And so it's been 25 years that we are making PMDs. And most of the big guys now, Schneider, etc., first, they used Socomec as a PMD for their own range. And then they have done their own, but Socomec, we were the first one, so we had a very strong presence, mostly in Europe. But now it means also that we have all the knowledges about PMDs, what we have to do, what are the expectations, and what's the future. So let's go through the Socomec offer.
I have a DVDs here. You can show.
Yeah, you can take that.
Un segundito ahí.
Okay, so we will start with standalone power monitoring devices. This is one, this is the second one, and this is the third one. So with and without display. Those products, they are made when you have to monitor one circuit. It might be a single phase load, a three-phase motor, whatever you want, but they are made for only one circuit. Okay. And so what's very important when you want to start to look at energy efficiency or power monitoring is to understand what's made for your energy consumption, how to optimize that. A very important characteristic is the accuracy. The accuracy means what's going to be your percentage of error when you monitor something. And so Socomec, we provide the majority of our devices are with 0.5 accuracy, which means if you monitor 100 kilowatt, you may see on the meter 105 or 99.5. So it's very, very precise with what the reality is. And when you want to do some billing about that, then the percentage of error is very small. And so you don't overcharge someone or do the opposite.
Okay. Me imagino que está. I think that you're talking about the CT, the efficiency.
The overall,
Okay.
the overall, yeah,
Okay.
accuracy.
Dice que estos equipos tienen la más alta eficiencia referente a otros. Tienen entre el 0.5, o sea, el margen de error es mínimo, es 0.5% de referente a los otros equipos. Bueno, y ahora ese margen de error se va a hacer mucho más pequeño de acuerdo a la nueva tecnología de CT, ya lo vamos a ver más adelante. Y con la tecnología que tienen ellos hacen que los equipos sean mucho más eficientes. Y no solo lo dicen ellos, sino que también hay certificaciones que hablan de eso, referente a otros tipos de medidores.
The The second one is the mid variance. Mid is a European standard that is used to make sure that as soon as the installation of the product is done, the accuracy is validated by a third-party laboratory and that nobody can modify it. Because what happens is you can install a meter and 2 weeks after you have an electrical guy that will play with it and he will modify all the parameters. When the product is mid certified, it's not possible. You have something on the product that will avoid someone to play with it.
Ok. Bueno, una vez que los equipos son configurados no pueden ser modificados porque tienen, bueno, tienen también una aplicación que permite que eso no pueda pasar. Lo que él comenta, que 2 semanas después puede ir un electricista y cambiar muchos parámetros y el equipo se puede desconfigurar. Eso no pasa con esta marca como tal. Okay.
And the multi-tariff management or multi-thread pulse metering is in a building. When you do some tenant monitoring or tenant metering, during the day, you may have several tariffs. The utility may charge you a certain level, like when it's a high demand, and then they might charge you less when it's in the middle of the day. And so within the devices, you can modify those tariffs. And so you can do remote billing management. Also, in a building, in a plant, you not only have electricity as a thread, you may have gas, water, etc., air, and so you might want to also monitor those values. And by using Socomec meters, we have like some pulse input, and so external devices we can connect into the Socomec environment.
Okay. Primero, los equipos tienen la posibilidad de configurarlos a las multitarifas, que eso aplica aquí. Por lo menos, de 2 a 6 de la tarde tienen un costo, luego un costo, eso se puede programar en el equipo para que al final nos dé el costo final real en lo que es sistema monetario, ¿no? Y en lo otro es que los equipos tienen la particularidad de medir otras variables como son consumo de gas, consumo de agua o cualquier otra señal que se pueda anexar. Supongamos, tenemos entradas y salidas, entradas análogas y digitales para configurar cualquier equipo. No sé, de repente temperatura o algo así que podamos incluir también en las entradas del equipo como tal.
And the best one, the embedded web server. What will happen is you're making the design of your energy efficiency program for your factory, for your buildings. But then you don't want every day to stop by all the different electrical cabinets to look at the values. It's time consuming and you need someone to do it. So what happened is with Socomec, we have some embedded web servers, which is a monitoring software included within the device. And remotely, from a computer in your maintenance room, you can manage all the devices instantaneously. You can do some reporting, manage alarms, doing some analysis, etc. from your room. And if you want, you can also send automatic alarms to your mobile phone. Mm-hmm. Like the voltage is going down, which means there is an issue, then you will have an email. There is an alarm on this equipment, and then you go on site only when you have to.
Okay, él dice que, bueno, el equipo tiene un web server incluido en el equipo donde nosotros lo podemos comunicar a una red y nos puede estar enviando mensajes electrónicos, correos electrónicos, cuando una variable tiene presente algún desperfecto. De repente para la aplicación que me estaba diciendo, no lo haríamos con SMS, sino a través de correo electrónico. Una opción que pudiera darse, ¿no? Claro. Y podemos, igual, tienen tanto entradas como salidas y es algo muy fácil de configurar.
Yep. Okay. Another important topic with power monitoring devices, it's not only about energy efficiency management or billing management, consumption management. You can also manage your equipment, manage the assets, which mean let's imagine you are a car manufacturer, you're Volkswagen. They have many plants in Mexico. All the different machines, they are so expensive. Each of them are $1 million. And also when you produce a car, you don't want to have any blackout, any downtime. Because if you have a downtime, everything that is on the production line go to the bin. Because you cannot start to paint the car and stop in the middle. Then you cannot start again because you're gonna have two different colors. And so it's important that you manage your assets. And when you manage your assets, you have to, one of the important values are the electrical values. If the voltage is going up and down, then you're out of the tolerance of the machine, switch off the machine automatically. And so power monitoring devices, they help you to manage all of that. From a single PMD, you can have so many measurements available. Harmonics, energy, power, but also you can look at voltage drops, etc.
Ok. Lo que viene diciendo de que aparte no solo de gerenciar lo que es la parte monetaria o ver la eficiencia, sino que también podemos tener una posibilidad mayor, ver cuando por lo menos hay picos de voltaje o hay variaciones en la frecuencia, cosas así que pueden afectar un proceso. Él lo comentó, lo que es la parte de Volkswagen, que si está en la parte de pintura un carro y hay este tipo de falla, lo más correcto es antes de empezar un proceso pararlo hasta que se normalice esto, porque puede ser que mientras esté en la mitad de la pintura el carro solo se pinte, de la carrocería solo se pinte la mitad y posteriormente pintar la otra mitad hay un cambio de color. Entonces, para esto es importante tener estos tipos de analizadores que puedan informarnos de cuando tenemos problemas de este rango en la red eléctrica. Yeah.
Okay. Then how Socomec differentiate a power monitoring device? I would say there is one subject that is important is it a new installation? Are you coming from scratch? The building is not yet here, the manufacturing plant is not built yet, and so you have space. You don't have any electrical cabinet constraints. But there is another topic, which is also, I would say, almost the majority, is when the plant is already there and you have an electrical room, which is 3 meters by 2, and you have an electrical cabinet already full of equipment. And so the space available to update or to add equipment is very limited. So at Socomec, we can provide the two offers. Something when you start from nothing, and you work with the electrical engineer to make sure that will fit perfectly and that will be easy to use, easy to install. And there is also the second one, which is when you're with the facility manager and he's like, okay, I want to improve my installation and I want to add metering or monitoring equipment. And he will told us, well, I have only 1 hour to add the new equipment. I cannot remove cables. I have to make the installation live with all the electricity all around. And then we can differentiate ourselves by providing a different offer. So both are available and they are important to that we are aware of that at the beginning of the discussion.
Okay. Inicialmente lo que comenta es que por lo menos si tenemos un cuarto eléctrico donde tenemos muchos equipos, no, en vez de estar usando un medidor por cada equipo, usamos un medidor que pueda tener la capacidad de medir todos los puntos eléctricos que tengamos en ese cuarto eléctrico. Por otra parte, ya se me fue la idea. ¿Cuál era el otro punto? Half the different point in the room, electric room, and the other was the.
I don't get it. Sorry.
Es cuando modernizas uno que ya tienes instalado,
Ah.
cuando vas a hacer uno nuevo.
Ah, ok.
O sea, las dos aplicaciones. O sea,
Ok, bueno, sí, ese es lo otro que nos comenta, que si ya tenemos todo instalado, ¿verdad? Para no estar desconectando cables y todo eso, ya tienen la tecnología de conectar todo directamente sin desconectar nada. O está la otra aplicación que, bueno, cuando estamos con una aplicación nueva, podemos hacer todo con ese sistema.
Right here, you have two very good examples. So this is two cabinets, a circuit breaker, and you have some sensors. Right here, you have a disconnect and also some sensors. What happened here, there are solid core sensors, which means the cable has to go through. So you can do that in a new installation. It's easy because you do the wiring at the same time as the installation of the meters. Right here, there are flexible sensors. And so you do not have to remove the bus bar to install the sensors. So if you have the gloves, all the glasses and your equipment, even if the product is live, you can go around the bus bar and install the sensors.
You have one in the cabinet.
Yeah, and there is, as an example, everything is live and I'm able to remove or to add the sensors directly. Wow, normally I need the equipment.
Yeah.
Which is not dangerous.
those are PCs, really.
Yes.
Yes.
Do you manufacture in any relation or just for your equipment?
So we are selling the sensors as part of the package. So they fit perfectly with Socomec PMDs. But if you need them as loose sensors, yes, that's an option as well.
Okay.
I was talking about having the web server to remotely have access to all the data. Well, the web server is something that is provided by Socomec. But what happens in your installation is you may already have some communication fields available because some of the PLCs, they are on Modbus or on Profibus. And instead of having a second communication network, you may want just to plug your devices on that one available. And so all the Socomec devices, they have communication outputs available, many different. Modbus and Profibus for manufacturing plants or buildings. We also have backnets when you have buildings most of the time, but also SNMP if you have a data center. And so Socomec, from the beginning, we provide gateways or even communication outputs. And all of that, by having all the product intelligent, then you can do some IoT connectivity where remotely you know what happened on your installation.
Okay. Primero habla de los buses de comunicación. Bueno, que los equipos que actualmente traen un puerto serial o un puerto Ethernet. Esto es para cuando vamos a conectar los equipos a un PLC o a un RTU o algún equipo así. Y bueno, y habla del backnet que lo usa más que todo para edificaciones y del Profibus para hacer rangos de equipo. Y habla de las tecnologías de web que pueden descargar archivos vía FTP, como son las descargas de datos para ver el comportamiento en Excel o en una gráfica de Excel o algo así. Enviar los eventos que ocurran en los equipos a través de alarmas o correos electrónicos. Y bueno, y que se basa a través de una plataforma web que está dentro de los equipos. O sea, no es un software que tenemos que comprar e instalarlo en nuestros computadores, sino simplemente configuramos el equipo y entramos directamente a la plataforma.
Yeah. Then, as I mentioned, new building, new installation, or retrofit installation. Retrofit, you already have the cabinet and limited space. Maybe on the front door, no more space available. You already have 10 different devices. So what we offer is different format. You have door-mounted display. You have DIN rail meters with a display, but you also have a DIN rail meter without a display. And so based on what's the configuration available, or if you need or not a display, if you don't walk by the cabinet on a daily basis, or if you know that you won't do that, then you can have no display. It will be cost effective, I would say, because you are having less options and less functionalities. Then what we offer as well is that the product, most of the product from Socomec are extendable, which means, okay, my customer has a limited budget. He doesn't want to spend hundreds of thousands of dollars in monitoring at the first year. And so what we do is we provide one equipment with a certain level of functionalities. Maybe there is no communication embedded. He tests the product for a certain period of time, and maybe over a year, he has plus $10,000 as an extension of his budget. And so what we can do is we can plug additional modules into the product already installed, and we add new features. Most of the time, it's I/O modules, input/output, or communication functionalities.
Ok. Bueno, que presentan las diferentes formas de montaje, los muestra con paneles, muestra un equipo que, bueno, que ya tiene los sensores incluidos y tiene el panel, y muestra otro equipo que simplemente no trae un panel, sino que nos podemos conectar a través del computador y hacer la configuración. Esto es en caso de que no tengamos la necesidad de tener un panel en sitio. Y de las opciones de equipos ya existentes que no tienen esta tecnología, venden o tienen accesorios, módulos, que los podemos conectar, por lo menos a estos equipos que tenemos aquí, y adaptarlos a estos nuevos sistemas. O sea que los equipos no pasan a ser obsoletos o fuera de servicio, sino que ellos buscan integrar todos los equipos que ya vendieron en el pasado con las nuevas tecnologías. Eso es lo que hace que siempre estén actualizados todo el equipo de acuerdo a las tecnologías que ellos van creando. Okay. Is it okay?
Yeah. Okay, this is a short video. It will explain some of the nice features on our devices. Circuit breakers, one motor, you have the sensors that goes to our monitoring device. What will happen? Can you just pause? No, click space.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, what will happen is you have your power monitoring devices and you will have the information about all the electrical measurements. But what happens is when you are downstream to a circuit breaker, you might want to know what's the position of my circuit breaker. Is it open? Is it closed? It has tripped or not? And so far, to do that, you need to add an equipment on top of the circuit breaker, which is an I/O module, very costly. The circuit breakers guy, they like to sell the circuit breaker at a fair price, but every option, you pay 10 times the cost, or very expensive. Well, what happened with Socomec is we started and we launched a new functionality, which is embedded in between the sensor and the display. And if you continue the video, so by having the combination of the sensors from Socomec and the display, which is the Socomec here, yeah, and we have our sensors.
Continue.
Yeah. Then the product itself will automatically detect the position. It will memorize the number of operations, and also when the circuit breaker will trip. And as the PMD is on your network because of the communication feature, directly from your computer or your cell phone, you know when the circuit breakers will trip. If a circuit breakers trip, something critical happen somewhere in your installation, and you want to go on site to do some inspection. Okay, do I have a short circuit somewhere, etc. So it's an added value, and instead of having to purchase the accessory from the circuit breaker, you already have that functionality in the PMD. So you will save on cost, installation, instead of a, and now it's one of our largest success so far because of all the functionalities embedded into a single product.
Ok, es lo que viene explicando es la funcionalidad que tienen los equipos, que aparte de tomar lo que es la medición, análisis y todo esto, puede decirnos en la posición que se encuentran los interruptores. Puede decir si el circuito está abierto, está cerrado, o si incluso el interruptor se fue a falla. Y todo esto lo puede transmitir a través de las funciones que tiene el web server que incluye el equipo. Por lo menos la alarma, epa, a tal hora falló tu interruptor, se activó por falla. Y te da la opción de ir a hacer una inspección y todo esto. Bueno, prácticamente esto es las ventajas que tiene el equipo. Y él también comenta que con tener esto directamente en los interruptores es un costo adicional, que de repente puede ser una función ganar-ganar, porque dejas de comprar ese tipo de accesorios, ¿verdad? Que no te va a dar la funcionalidad de estar enviándote correos, de estar informándote, a comprar un equipo de esto, que aparte de todas las ventajas que te da de medición de calidad de energía y todo esto, también te da esa función como tal.
Yeah. Okay, can you just stop? Okay, another functionality that is embedded in some of our PMDs is the autocorrect. Let's imagine I'm the contractor, so I'm the one that will install that product, the PMD. What happens is first, I have to wire the voltage reference. And then I have to wire the current transformer, the CTs. What happens, it's easy to mix match the voltage reference and the CTs, or also to install the CTs reversed. And what will happen is when I will look at the values, I will have negative currents, or I will have wrong power factors. And everything I will monitor is completely false. The issue is, as soon as the installation is done, you have the cables going through, the CTs, you have the cabinet that is live, and it's not easy to do troubleshooting. You need to have a downtime, you need to have someone to be on site with all the equipment. So what we can do is we can modify and make the correction that the software embedded within the PMD. And what will happen is you can ask a new guy to install the device for you. He will do everything wrong. Wrong CTs, not at the right voltage reference, etc. Everything wrong. All the value in measures, they are negative everywhere. But with a single click on the device, you will correct everything. It's crazy. As fast as you can change everything, it's unbelievable.
Ok, los equipos tienen la bondad de que por lo menos si nosotros tenemos un error en el momento de hacer el cableado, lo podemos modificar a través de software. Porque por lo menos si tenemos una planta y ya está operando un equipo, sacar el equipo de funcionamiento nos va a generar un costo. Entonces lo que podemos hacer es que a través del sistema podemos hacer incluso ahí él hace la automodificación del equipo para que pueda estar leyendo los parámetros como son realmente. Y bueno, y se omite este problema de estar haciendo la reinstalación. Okay.
Goes the video. So this is a good example. You have your 3 phases going to the motor, and here you have the 3 phases for the stop. Can you stop? Yeah. 3 phases for the voltage reference. 1, 2, 3 goes in 1, 2, and 3. And here you have the sensors or current transformers, and you should follow the same order, 1, 2, 3. If you don't, and you have the calculation, because there is an algorithm inside, mathematical algorithm. Then you will have, on this example, negative power. The currents will be good. They're all going to be positive. But at the end, the power will be negative on one of the phases. And overall, the power factor, instead of being 0.9, will be 0.3. So all the different measurements will be wrong. The product is live, installation is live. To do the modification right here, you need someone that is authorized to do it and that has all the equipment. It's not that easy. You don't want to do it all day long, the replacement. And so what happened? Play, yeah,
No.
sorry.
So,
See, you have some negative power because of incorrect wiring. So this is not a Socomec product. And so what's embedded in the Socomec devices now is I have my circuit breaker, my motor, I have my sensors, I have the Socomec device. Stop. And again, well, bad luck for us, the guy who installed the product did the same mistake again, which is very common. And so let's look at the data. Yeah, Clay?
Mhm.
We have the PMD that by itself will told us, well, something is wrong. Based on your installation, based on what he is seeing, there is something incorrect. And so what the product will do is internally, he's going to swap the two cables. And so it will auto-correct the wiring of the product. And basically at the end, everything is right. And you don't have to go back on site and to do the modification manually. So you will save a lot of time in troubleshooting and cost of labor, because the guy that needs to reverse the cables, it's not going to be free for you. They will charge you for that. So you have automatic wiring control, the correction of errors, and those features, you don't need to have a load to do that. As soon as the product is supplied, you can do it automatically. So before you have the installation live, you can make all the modification. So new installation, you have the owner that is coming on site. He wants to check that everything is well, but the installation is not yet live. And by doing that autocorrect in offload, you can prove that, well, the devices are good. So these functionalities, the autocorrect, the virtual monitoring, they are not available on all Socomec PMDs. We have some previous offer, such as this one, that doesn't have this functionality. But the one that we recently launched, more than 1 to 3 years ago, as an example, those one, they are embedded with that functionality.
Ok, bueno, que de unos años para acá, bueno, ellos diseñaron nuevamente un equipo donde ellos pueden incluso hacer un seguimiento en serie y anexar otros equipos a uno ya existente.
Yeah.
Finish the video, yeah?
Yeah. No? Yeah, you can go to the next slide as well. Okay. So what do we include? What do we include in a Socomec power monitoring offer, mostly for single load, when you have a single circuit, is we guarantee the accuracy. Again, this is very important. You don't want to monitor something completely wrong. Second one is we have the functionality to manage your protective device. What's the position? How many operations? Does it trip or not? And the third one is the autocorrection, which according to me is the best because you will save everything and you almost don't care about the installation of the product. I don't know if you know that company, WeWork. Have you heard of WeWork? Okay, it's no longer a startup company, but basically it's a company that will purchase very big buildings and then they will make offices inside and they will rent the offices for other companies. So they have buildings everywhere, thousands of buildings. And what happened is they want to charge the company that use the room or the office individually. And so we worked with them. We have been able to sell to them that kind of product. And we provided the commissioning as well. We are like, okay, it's your first installation. You might want to have a Socomec guy to train you. I was the Socomec guy. I went on site with them. And the contractor told me, well, can you be there on Monday at 9 a.m.? I was like, well, yes, for sure. It's not an issue. And he's like, I will have done the installation on Sunday. I'm like, well, it's better if we do the installation together so I can support. He's like, well, we'll see. I went there on Monday at 9 a.m. At 9:30, everything was done. And I asked the guy, okay, well, what have you done on Sunday? He's like, well, I had 3 meters to install, and he spent only 2 hours to install all of them. And he's like, well, I took the voltage, I took the sensors, I ran into all my conduits, and then I switched it on, and I had some negative currents. I was like, okay, well, what have you done after? Well, I followed the instruction, and I had the autocorrection automatically done. So 30 minutes after I arrived, the guy paid for 1 day of commissioning. I was like, well, what should I do? You want me to leave? You know, I had the full day with you. And we just went through the training. I was showing some of the very nice features, etc. And I asked him, well, do you know who's the guy that will install the future meters? He was like, well, I know the guy that managed the property. And so he went to that guy. We have done the nice introduction together. And now Socomec with that meter is specified for all the WeWork building in North America. And on at least every month, we have a purchase order for 10 devices. And it's because of the installation was so easy that the guy specified us everywhere. So I would say that one is crazy. When you have a guy that is used to have Schneider, any other brand of meters, and they switch to Socomec for the first time, you have to push on the autocorrect. You let him doing the installation as he wants, and the day after you're like, well, okay, let's do the startup. And you introduce the autocorrection, he will love it, for sure. I don't know if you want to translate that.
Bueno, ellos hablando de una instalación que hicieron en un edificio donde colocaron tres medidores en alrededor de 50 minutos, que se les hace muy fácil porque a la hora de correr el equipo, ellos en el momento de tener algún error usan esta aplicación de autocorrer y él puede, o sea, no tienen que hacer nuevamente la instalación, sino que modifican todo lo que por parte del sistema lo que se tiene que modificar y arranca el equipo. Que hubo un momento que no hallaban qué hacer, si se iban o se quedaban ahí haciendo algo, porque o sea, por lo que les habían pagado un día lo hicieron en 50 minutos. Entonces, eso es él comenta que es una ventaja de lo que tienen los equipos, porque la instalación es muy rápida. Y que hay gente que ha instalado otros equipos como Schneider o otras marcas, Vitichino, marcas como esta, nunca, o sea, al momento de cambiarse a Socomec, que ven esta particularidad, se le hace mucho más rápido la instalación y prefieren quedarse con la marca por la facilidad que tiene.
Yeah. Okay, now let's go through the different products. This is the top one. For single circuit, this is the top one. There is A40. The product from the outside looks like very similar to that one. Very compact touch screen, a very nice lighting. So even during the night or during the day, you can see all the measurements. Very easy for the integration. Well, you have all the nice features, auto correction, the sensors from Socomec. The configuration is made step by step by the product itself. You just have to press some buttons. And we have communication features that are already embedded. Product is very compact, and you can connect Ethernet cables, RS485 for Modbus, well, many options available. It is compatible with solid core current transformers. So new installation, the cables is going through. You have split core. So for retrofit application, you just go around and you can clip. And Rogowski are flexible. The accuracy is 0.5. So very, very good accuracy. Most of the competition, it's class 1, so 1%, up to 3-5% sometimes. As I mentioned, you have an assisted configuration, and so as soon as you make the first installation, it's like when you install a new software on your computer. You will have some information that will guide you. Okay, what is the network? Is it 3-phase plus neutral, 2-phase, single phase? You just have to select the right one. You press OK. Second step, what is the value of your current sensor? Is it 200 amp? Is it 500? Is it 2000? You just select the value, you press OK. Which type of communication do you want? Oh, I want Ethernet. Well, what's the IP of the meter? You just select and you press. And step by step, very easy. And it is also IoT connected. So for some of the versions, you have the web server embedded. And so remotely from the computer, you can access to all the data.
Okay. Los equipos que él viene comentando que son de fácil integración, que una vez conectados lo que tenemos es que seguir una serie de pasos, es como si estuviéramos instalando un software en el computador. Por lo menos si tenemos la primera red, es decir, de si es trifásica, cuánto es el voltaje, y lo segundo es los sensores de corriente. Por lo menos el sensor de corriente, ok, es de 20 amperios, pero voy a estarlo manejando en un rango de 10. Eso lo modificamos ahí y ya el equipo nos trabaja de eficiencia. Una de las cosas, de las bondades que tienen estos equipos, que los sensores de corriente, que si tenemos un sensor de corriente en un rango de 0 a 200 y nosotros estamos usando 20 amperios, el equipo es eficiente en 20 amperios. Cosa que no pasa con los CTs convencionales. O sea, que si voy a trabajar de 200 amperios, tengo que estarlo por lo menos trabajando en un rango del 75% para que sean efectivos. No. De hecho, ahorita tenemos sensores instalados de 63 amperios y la corriente que estamos manejando es 0.9 amperios. Y maneja la exactitud que tiene que manejar. A eso no pasa con otros medidores. Con otros medidores tienen que estar metidos dentro del rango. Si no, no tiene esa ventaja.
And so directly from the display, you have some, it's not push buttons because it's touch screen, like if you're on your iPad. But basically you can check directly voltage and frequency, current and power, and then energy. And with the different arrows, then you can go through additional details if you want to look at harmonics, etc. So very easy to use. The one in blue right here is that you can save some of the values that you want to see that are important for you. You might want to look at the, I don't know, harmonics, current harmonics. Mm-hmm. Then you select the current harmonics values, you press here, and it will save as a favorite, you know? It's like on your Internet Explorer and you have favorite pages. Well, you can do the same with the product. So very easy to use. I think just to summarize the product, simplest, quickest, and most efficient for implementation. It's a top product.
Bueno, lo que viene hablando también es que por lo menos podemos navegar por el menú del equipo y si necesitamos algo, como guardarlo como una especie de favorito en el computador, lo que tenemos que darle a la estrella y ya se nos queda esa parte almacenada. Por lo menos, si estamos viendo mucho los armónicos, porque tenemos un problema armónico recientemente y queremos estar monitoreando esa parte, ya vamos a tener un más rápido acceso a esa parte del menú.
Bueno, ¿lo almacena el equipo o
Lo almacena el equipo.
el equipo lo almacena?
El equipo lo que te va a hacer es que es como una dirección rápida para llegar a esos parámetros y los puedas pues, estar monitoreando. Ahora, el equipo también tiene la capacidad de almacenar data. Eso lo vamos a ver más adelante. Ya después vamos a hacer una prueba de descargar la data y procesarla para que se vea. Que otros equipos necesitan un data logger adicional que a veces cuesta 2 veces más de lo que cuesta el equipo de medición.
In terms of measurements, voltage, frequency, currents, power factors, all the different power. You have different tariffs. You can look at load curves. All the values instantaneously, some average. You can do some comparison with the mean, the max, etc. Inside the product, there is a memory. I think it's 4 GB, and it's first in, first out. So what we recommend is if you monitor and you save like standard values, every 15 minutes, you can have up to 1 year of data recorded. All the alarms, there is some inputs and outputs embedded in the product. So let's say...
If you can, I go for the model.
If you have it, yeah, go. So with the input and output, you can do some load shading. What happens is you have 10 different loads. 50% of them are very critical. Maybe, I don't know, the HVAC. Another 50% is the heat. And so sometimes you might want to have everything in or on all together. And so you don't have enough power available. Well, you can set an alarm within your within the PMD. And as soon as you reach that power, with the IO, you will automatically switch off one of the breaker and you will isolate one of the load. And so you always remain below your max in terms of power. As I mentioned, you can record all the data. And as soon as you record all the data, with the communication, you can export. Every Monday, you want to receive an Excel file with all the values from last week. Well, you just have to set that routine within the software. And on your email, every Monday, you receive the file. And you manage it, you do whatever you want with it.
Excuse me, what is the capacity the data?
It's 4 GB.
8 GB.
And so, oh, this is not this one.
No, it's
That's not this one.
for the input.
Oh, yeah, but after, okay. And so with 4 GB, if you record every 15 minutes, you have 1 year of memory. It's a lot.
Los 4 que dan para mediciones cada 15 minutos
Sí.
de un año. Toda la capacidad.
I have to change the time. For example, 1 minute. I have the left time, 1 month or 2 weeks, something like that, and then download the data.
Yeah, so you can select which type of value you want to record. You want only the voltage every 10 minutes? Well, you may have 15 years of data. What we recommend is if you save like the standard values, voltage, current, energy, some of the power, every 15 minutes, you have 1 year. If you record all of that, every minute, then you may have only 2 days of data. What happens is, in the software, you select what you want. And by selecting what you want, it will let you know how much days you're gonna record. And you can make a choice. Okay?
Other question.
Yeah.
He working like rollover. Is when the erase the last one
Yeah,
and put the new.
if the memory is full, then it's the oldest one that will be erased by the new one. We call it FIFO, first in, first out.
Okay. O sea, él sigue almacenando la información. Lo que pasa es que por lo menos si va borrando el último y va colocando el primero. Al momento de descargar la data siempre vamos a tener data ahí. No es que se queda congelado cuando ya se llena la memoria.
¿Se puede expandir esa memoria?
These memories can be expanded.
Well, you can't add memory in the product, but as you use the communication, then you can save the data in your computer.
Okay, si normalmente guardas la data en la computadora. We can program download for if you connect with the computer, for example. You can every day in the morning download the information.
Correct.
O sea que también si tenemos un computador conectado al equipo, nosotros podemos programar el equipo que todos los días en la mañana me descargue la data. O sea que de esa forma la podemos poner, por decir, en 1 minuto y lo que vamos es pegando todo en un archivo en Excel y podemos ver todo. Es interesante.
Second one, the B10. So this is almost the same as the one before, but there is no display. You see the meter is only...
Is it the G50? Yeah?
No, that's the B10 and B30.
I have put yesterday in there, no?
No. That's the B10 and the B30, so it's the same than before, but without a display. So the same functionalities. And what happened is we have an external display available that with a cable, you can connect directly to the product. But if you want a meter without the display, you don't want to look at the value in face-to-face, this is an option. Same accuracy, also very easy to integrate, and you have the same communication output, RS485, etc. So it's a bit less expensive than the one with the display. If your customer has a limited budget, but you want very nice features, this is a good product. And very compact, so in your electrical panel, very easy to integrate one.
Bueno, él dice que este equipo tiene las mismas funciones de este que estamos viendo, pero sin el display, que podemos hacer exactamente todo. Y eso es importante porque por lo menos he visto licitaciones donde piden equipos de medición de calidad de energía y ellos piden que no tenga display. O en algunos casos, no que no tenga display, sino que no se comunique a la red. O en algunos casos que tenga un nivel de protección más seguro para comunicarlos a la red, o que no hable Ethernet, sino que hable RS485 o FIU, por decir algo. O sea, que no tenga, o sea, que nadie, esto fue una licitación de grupo Bagnor, no sé si Bagnor o Bancoma, que los pidieron de esta manera. O sea, que el equipo solo se pudiera comunicar el área de comunicación de sistemas del banco para sacar la información. O sea, que nadie más pudiera tener acceso a la red o algo así. Entonces, es una verdad. O sea, el equipo lo podemos configurar de acuerdo a lo que necesitemos. No como otro que, bueno, que nomás tienen un solo modelo específico, quizás 2 funciones y hasta ahí.
Pero si tenemos un tablero, no sé, de matriz cerrada.
Exacto, no necesariamente poner la apertura para poner el panel o...
Yeah. Sensors. We have 3 types of sensors that are available with the Dairis A40 and the B10 or B30. This is the solid core one. So the cable is going through. you have the split core that you can open and go around, and you have the flexible one. What's important is the output of the sensor. It's 100 millivolts. It's not 5 amps or 1 amp. It's 100 millivolts. And also, the connection in between the sensor and the PND is made by a RJ12 cable. So it's very easy, it's plug and play. But it means that you cannot use that with many other PNDs. It's mostly with SOCOMEC PNDs. So this is the split core one. You just open right here, and then you go around your cable. And here you have the RJ12 for the cables to the PND. And this one, the very small one, is the solid core where you have to run the cable inside.
What is the current topic?
Good question. Very good one. So if you look at the marking, right here, you have 25 to 63 amp.
Okay.
And so the product can be used normally from 25 to 63 amp. But the accuracy, in fact, that we guarantee is from 2% of 25 up to 120% of 63. So this one can be used from 0 up to 80 amp. So it's very extended. And this is the case for all the sensors. And so with the range that is very, very large, in terms of number of references, we are limited at 15 references. And from 15 references, you can monitor from 0 amp up to 8,000 amp or 7,200. With the largest flexible one, you can have 7,200 amp. So all type of installation and applications.
Que podemos tener, o sea, tenemos un rango muy grande de medición de corriente, desde los más pequeños hasta los más grandes, incluso que podemos cubrir una barra completa con lo que es la parte de este equipo flexible y podemos ver toda la información y con la precisión que se requiere, obviamente.
So what's good with the RJ12 cables is that you can't make any error. When you have a 5 amp, you have 2 cables, and you have to make sure that you run the right one, and you might cross them. With that one, you don't cross. Also, as it is 100 millivolts, if you want to disconnect the secondary, there is nothing dangerous. With a 5 amp, you have to make a short circuit or you will damage your current transformer. With that one, everything is live, okay? I have some load everywhere. And I have my CTs right here. I can disconnect all of them. I completely don't care. When you have a 5 amp, don't do that. Never.
Sí, con 5 amperios eso no se puede hacer. Y es lo que comenta que la tecnología del equipo no se basa en amperios, sino que se basa en milivoltios. O sea, que es algo que quizás en lo que podamos tener menos pérdida y la transmisión de la energía puede ser mejor. Entonces, eso es lo que hace este tipo de medidores más eficientes que los que trabajan con amperios.
Another feature is that within the RJ12 cables, we have 6 wires going through. 2 of them are to communicate what's the amperage, what's the value. 2 others is to identify what's the rating of the sensor. So as soon as you plug the set source to the meter, it will auto detect what's the rating, which type of sensors you have. And the two left, it's to supply the sensors. So as we have 6 wires, if one of the cable is disconnected, then the meter will know that. And we can have an alarm, sensors disconnected. And so you know that it's not you have 0 load or that the load is off. Maybe everything is running. It's just that someone cut the cable by doing maintenance somewhere, etc. So the communication is also embedded within the sensors and the power monitoring device. Yeah, you can go. Okay. The Darius A40, the Darius B10, B30, they are high-end meters. Many functionalities. You have the auto-correction. You have the information about the position of the protective device. You have the plug-and-play sensors. There is a cost. I would say they are not expensive, but they are not cheap. And sometimes a customer, they have limited budgets and they just want to monitor the voltage, the current, and the energy. As simple as it is. So at Socomec, we also have an offer for that, which is a bit more affordable. A10, very compact, you have a display and it's mounted on a DIN rail. The sensors or current transformers, they are 5 amp or 1 amp output. Easy to make the commissioning. You have the voltage, the current sensors, you do the wiring, everything is done. Then just the push button, you will set which type of network and what's the value of the secondary of the current transformer. You monitor all the different values that are very important. Accuracy is 0.5 for some of the measurements, then it's more class 1. And you have the communication embedded on some of the versions. If your customer wants door mounting power monitoring device with a display, we have the A20. I think that's one of the two that was on the table. No, maybe this one? Yes, so this is the A20. So door mounting, 96 by 96. And on the back side, you have the current transformers, the voltage, and the control supply. And here you can see that there is 4 slots. Well, 2 only are available. This is for communication and I/O. So very easy to use. All the same different measurements, accuracy almost the same. What's embedded is the correction of the CTs. If you did not wire the CTs properly, you can make the configuration via the software inside. You have 4 push buttons, and you can go through voltage, frequency, power and power factor, and energy. Very easy to configure. You have the steps on the instruction sheet. And you have the A30, which for us was named the A40 in the past, but we changed the name recently. And so this one is very similar to the A20, but it has additional performances. We can look at, you have a counter for the hours. You can look at the temperature inside. And instead of having only 2 slots, there is 4 of them. So additional modules. And so I would say you start from the A10, A20, up to A30. That one, the A40, you have Ethernet output.
Okay. Ok, bueno. El primer equipo es relativamente básico, pero tiene la capacidad de medir todos esos valores que vemos ahí. Al igual tiene una salida de comunicación, tiene una entrada y una salida discreta, y también, o sea, puede ser montado en Real-DIN y trae su pantalla. Posteriormente, si el cliente requiere algo más evolucionado, tiene el Dirija 20, que es flexible, se tiene para conectar 4 módulos, incluyendo lo que es la parte módulo y tres señales más. Lee los mismos parámetros que vemos arriba e incluye lo que es la parte de DST con esta eficiencia que tenemos ahora. Y el Dirija 30 es igual al anterior, maneja los mismos CT. La diferencia es que tiene una salida Ethernet donde podemos ver toda la información que tenemos en el software como tal, en el web server que trae el equipo. Okay.
I was talking at the beginning about MIG or MID certified. Well, as you can see right here on the setup button, you can add such as a padlock. And so if someone is removing the padlock, then you know that the product may have changed the configuration. That's why it is protected. That's it. And also, yeah, it has been inspected by an external laboratory that confirm the accuracy and the performances. Okay. When you have a device with communications, RS485 or Ethernet, we also have the web server embedded. And the web server embedded means that remotely you can have access to all the different values to do some energy management, but also power monitoring. So it means you can look at all the consumptions, but instantaneously you can look at also what's the voltage, what's the current. Instead of talking too much about it, as soon as we play with that, I will do a demo of the software or the embedded web server. You will see all the functionalities.
Ok, aquí estaba mostrando los diferentes equipos que tenemos. Tenemos, o sea, lo que es la parte de software, el equipo que nos permite ver hasta 200 dispositivos, que es el web server que trae la aplicación, y tenemos una aplicación que va montada en la nube, que donde quiera podemos ver el equipo. O sea, podemos conectar el equipo y verlo a través de internet de cualquier. Y bueno, hay soluciones que se diseñan, por lo menos en estas aplicaciones como la View y otras cosas así, donde también nos podemos llevar la información o la empresa que tenga un sistema SCADA o algo así puede llevar la información y monitorearla a través de su sistema. No necesariamente tiene que ser por medio de todo software que ya implementa software.
Just the web view, that is a good offer when you have all the devices in the same environment within a manufacturing plant. As soon as you start to have equipment in different locations, we also have a solution which is in the cloud. And so from everywhere in the world, you will have access to all the different data. Again, Volkswagen, they don't have only a manufacturing plant in Mexico. They have many of them in Germany, maybe in China. And so if they want to do some metering, maybe the facility manager or energy manager is located only in Germany. But with the cloud, he will have access to the values that are in Mexico. So for very big customers, that's an offer that they are looking at.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Next one.
Okay, yes.
Is it a video? Okay, can you just stop? Okay, when I was talking about laboratory initially, so we have our own laboratory. Funny fact, the name of the laboratory is Tesla. Nothing related to the electrical cars, but it's a Tesla lab made on, Nikola Tesla, which is one of the big guys about electricity. And so within that lab, we do all the testing, etc., for power switching. transfer switches disconnect. We also make tests on UPSs, but we also make tests on power monitoring. And the test we perform is about accuracy of the data. We are testing EMC, electrical magnetic compatibility, because it's PCBs inside the product. But we are also testing the product is in environment. What about waters, dust, etc.? What's the IP or the NEMA rating of the product? So we have different rooms to test temperature. We have a high pressure water going through. So you will see that's a video that will introduce all of that. And also, if I remember, our production line, it's all automatic. There is some people that are doing some stuff, but the majority is all automatic. It's a lean manufacturing line. It's very impressive. See, they do some tests on the PCBs. We have some panels with all the devices and we check the software. Here it's mechanical resistance of the cables. Some water to check the IP. Mechanical resistance. Vibration. This is temperature and humidity. Again, temperature. I think it's UV as well. You can check if you install the product outside with the sun, like is it going to stay 15 years or are you going to see a different color? Well, it was only about the lab, not production. But so what I mean about Socomec is that the quality is one of our top priority. We are not making products that will be defective a week after or a year after. When we see those, like the A20 or A30, 40, I started Socomec 10 years ago. Back in France, I was the new guy, you know, the rookie. I was the technical support, and I was used to work on those devices on a daily basis, but for the installation. And today, we still don't replace those devices. I'm managing the tech support in North America, and I don't see any request about, well, my product is defective. This is good for the customer, this is bad for Socomec, because we don't replace. But anyway, the quality at Socomec is very high. So there is a cost too. But I think for customers, it's very important that when they install a product day one, 10 years after, they still have the same quality. And all the measurements remains the same.
Question. Do you carry some marine certification?
Yes. So most of them are Bureau Veritas, BV, RINA, which is an Italian one, and CHEMA.
Okay.
So most of the certifications or marine certifications are made on power switching, on some single phase UPSs, and on diaries, I will have to check.
Basically in meters in these diaries, no? Diaries.
I will have to check on diaries.
Because it's too open. I don't know if it is sality or corrosion proof.
What we are doing is when we have a marine certification to pass, our PCBs are tropicalized. So we add like a glue.
Yeah.
I don't know the name of it.
Barniz.
Yeah, and so we can increase like the product to withstand high humidity or saline environment, etc. So we do have some certification. I will have to check on the diaries. I'm not at 100% confident.
Okay. And explosive areas, something like that.
Well, most of the time when you have an explosive area, the product is inside an enclosure. And so we do have ATEX enclosure, gas proof, dust proof.
Mhm.
mostly for disconnect, again.
Okay.
With meters, what we have seen is most of the time the meters are in the electrical room, which is not in the gas-proof environment. You're outside and the degree is lower, and so the product itself isn't. But if you install that one into a enclosure or in a safer area, yes.
But there are a number of applications that you never know.
Yeah.
So we have to be known or know the solution of that.
If you want a fun fact is that Socomec French company. So we are very close with utilities and military. And France is one of the largest country in terms of nuclear power plants.
Mhm.
And we are very close to EDF, which is the French utility, and those dairies, they are everywhere in the nuclear power plants. Near the
No.
production,
Here in Mexico, I have a company that made part for the this kind of plant and buy some products for this. ¿Cómo se llama tu cliente? Soltec.
Ajá.
so you
He,
see,
he,
it's not only in France, but also in Mexico. And the second fun fact is about marine. In France, we have DCNS, which is the submarine manufacturer.
Uh-huh.
They make nuclear submarine, defensive submarine, etc. Socomec, we are the first provider of UPSs, metering, and relays for that company. And if you heard of that, Australia, they just purchased or they just signed a contract with France for, I think it's 15 submarines, nuclear submarines. And so they will have that kind of device inside. So we are very strong in some very particular application.
Fine.
Do you have any more questions on those two devices for single circuit? Good.
just a second, I have a person phone call. If you want, take a little break. I think. Bueno, perdón. Si quieren agarrar un receso ahí de 5 o 10 minuticos para.
Refresco, agua.
Gracias, Carlos.
¿Quieren café o algo?
Sí, sí, un café.
Yo voy a hacer más.
Ya. ¿Cómo va el producto? Si nosotros tenemos tiempo para hacer
Hace poco nos cotizaron, de hecho tenemos una cotización de cliente que nos estaba pidiendo.
muy bien. Sí, ustedes creo que son tus clientes.
Mi ley. Sí, quiero. Sí, del proyecto de tirar de unos equipos, 4 equipos de medición. No, pero es que los están haciendo. Y ahora te aprovecho.
De hecho, últimamente
Sí, como ustedes le dan, pues,
La mayoría del equipo.
pero ya no la
Sí. Bueno, esperemos que pronto.
todos queremos que ayer, a veces ayer.
Será cuestión de 3, 4 meses. Nosotros somos una empresa
Ok,
que
perfecto.
estamos muy
De todas maneras,
enfocados en las soluciones integrales. Entonces, armamos pequeños gabinetes de computación. Pero la industria es muy exigente, entonces buscamos una marca de calidad.
Correcto.
Hay un costo atrás, como bien explicaba David, pero atrás de eso pues está la imagen también de
Y la
nosotros.
tranquilidad
Y la
para
tranquilidad.
No, y
que va a
cada
cumplir las funciones que ustedes están.
dependiendo también del tipo de proyecto. Como nosotros tenemos relación directamente con el proyecto, podemos conseguir las nuevas cosas. De hecho, ahorita tratamos con Selmer. Todas las transferencias que usa Selmer son las nuestras. O sea, nosotros tenemos ahí un almacén de transferencias que son de Selmer. Con las Selmer que están saliendo. Entonces, estamos hablando de 200 equipos.
Application for
Por ejemplo, apoyo
building.
marcha,
Okay.
todos ustedes pueden ir a Querétaro.
Eso lo vamos a hacer en la parte que me corresponde.
There are a number of little storage
Y en
basements.
Yeah.
Now they pay maintenance.
Mexicano. Bueno, es una empresa mexicana con la dueña alemana y el
Y
trabajador
el
venezolano. Si quiere paso por aquí para que vea el laboratorio que tenemos también aparte de energy and
The
that.
energy and the maintenance fee. So it's a very good application. It's for around 60 storage.
Okay.
So it was, as we say,
Perfect timing.
perfect timing now.
Okay, well, you see what we have seen this morning so far, single circuit.
Sorry.
And so when you have 60 shops, having 60 meters in your cabinet, it's over, it's too much. We have a second solution, which is this one, based on modules and much more cost effective, labor effective, space effective.
We need a 100% automatic billing system, because if there is going to a guy to have the reading, well, I mean, it's
So,
busy.
yeah.
So we need this application 100%.
Okay,
So I will ask Osvaldo to make me a quotation.
that's good, yeah. Do they have the 60 shops? There is only one panel board?
No, I don't know really how they are connected. I don't know how they are connected. I think they're including not in the same floor. Maybe 2 or 3 floors.
Okay.
So I have to
Yeah.
get more information, and I will send it to you so we can. Okay, so we can make a very good presentation to the
Yeah.
customer.
Well, that's the best.
Because I think there are different sites, different size of maybe one circuit monophase and three phase. So we have, or 2 phases. So maybe a mix of systems. So we will need to know that.
Okay, well, to start with, the best we can do, and that's something that I would suggest to Osvaldo, you go there on site and you look at what's the installation. Is there many distribution boards? Is there only one switch board? For each distribution board, what's the protection for each store? Is it single phase breaker 20N? As it is a big shop or a restaurant, they may have 5 breakers, 3 phase 200N. And as soon as we know what's the installation, then we can supply or suggest how many modules do they need, how the modules will communicate to each other, and where is the intelligence. So with the intelligence, then we will set a configuration with some hierarchies that will duplicate the real distribution. And so from his computer, the owner of the mall will be able, on a weekly basis or monthly basis, have a report that will show, okay, this store, they used 375 kilowatt. And so I will charge them based on their consumption, and they have to pay 25 cents, I don't know, in pesos per kilowatt hour.
Okay, yeah.
And then they can be able to do that automatically.
Yeah.
And we have done that, well, at least in US, with many malls. So I can show you some pictures where you have a box with many meters inside, and you just see the RJ12 cables of the sensors running into the main switchboard, and on the load side of the breaker, you have the sensors going around. So very compact, and for the installation, it has been very easy.
We need easy installation.
Oh, yeah.
Because that's a very old building, well, maybe 50 years old, so we have to make things easy.
That's good. I have to go to the restroom. I'm sorry.
Go on.
What nice products, David.
Thank you. You will see the second part. When we're gonna start those products, they're even better. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Do you have the equipment for
Muchos asistentes, yo soy José Chávez.
Marco.
Gustavo Rivera.
They have one.
Bien de Querétaro.
De Querétaro. Pero trabajamos más hacia el parte de Guanajuato, Parque Opción.
Yo todo el año pasado estuve, afortunadamente trabajo en la zona de Silao, León.
Pero ha sido mucho.
Es una maravilla.
Lástima, como está.
No,
¿Y se dedica usted a
yo soy integrador de automatización de control.
y ya maneja su comercial?
No aún, me han invitado y no ha salido algún proyecto interesante en donde les compre, todavía no, pero pues, por ahí habrá algo en que...
¿Y dónde está su negocio?
Aquí en Coyoacán, en la Ciudad de México. Y lo que hago, el 99.9% de las cosas no se queda en el sitio federal. Ya no hay nada, no hay luz, entonces para afuera aquí. Los permisos son imposibles, ¿no? Qué ruido, qué contaminación, qué agua. Entonces, y si tengo, digamos, aplicaciones marinas con la Secretaría de Marina, muchos modernización de canderos viejos.
Por eso pregunto si tenían alguna prueba.
Sí, certificaciones marinas que nos piden certificaciones. Que luego no se les da la boca. No hay. Pero si certificado marino, pues es mucho más fácil poder procesar.
Mira, él me dice que sí lo tiene. Que pudiéramos trabajar primero en un proyecto conjunto, ver si los precios, porque lo que
Automación.
ver si los precios
Eléctricos
son competitivos.
especiales.
O si podemos entrar.
Porque este es un amigo que hace
PLCs, inversores.
pero lo que y al parecer ahorita
Esto
van
de
a formar
monitorear
una
energía.
aquí ahorita en la pista
Abril.
entonces desde abril ellos van a hacer un proyecto con ese tipo de equipo entonces quiere ver si a través de nosotros puede hacerlo.
Todavía no lo he hecho,
Energético.
pero nosotros estamos planificando armar un equipo para nosotros hacer ese equipo y poder hacer el cálculo de esos equipos para el factor de potencia. Ya, no por el factor de potencia, sino que estas empresas tienen que entregar un informe a CFE, donde no tienen mayor problema con tensiones de armónicos, cosas así. Pero los que tienen problemas con el factor de potencia tienen que corregirlo.
Porque es lo que me dice
No, claro, yo no tengo duda.
como que ellos proyectan darle bien la marca.
Porque son proyectos.
Si ellos pudieran decir, bueno, es más que yo recomiendo marcar.
Sí, claro, sí se puede.
Ah, gracias. Sí, pero quiero saber si
Sí,
para poder
ya me está diciendo que sí. No. Dame
como
la-
para yo saber que
You have information about
porque información
data sheet, something like that for
Queremos ser
sharing
eficientes
the
y
information
efectivos.
and help customers.
Cierto alcance, pero cuando no, pues no queremos dejar al cliente desubicado y decir, no, es la idea, pues es un mundo de
Que lo que
relaciones.
hay que chequear es importante es el voltaje. Entonces,
sí,
en Europa,
de todas maneras yo voy a si no lo he visto ahorita no
Y ser pequeño a
pero lo
veces
puedo
es ser
intentar
más ágil.
exacto, sí. Porque ya después lo vamos a hacer así, como lo estamos haciendo ahorita, pero exclusivamente
ok.
es la idea. A veces no los hemos
Son cosas especiales que va a haber. Pero del vendedor, como el vendedor.
Que venga, pero no, porque ya muchas cosas.
La respuesta es rápida. Malo de en esto ya llevo 30 años. Altos y bajos.
Yeah.
Y bueno, como se come, son más tengo equipo en los bancos que tienen 15 años.
¿Será que ya no tomó? Porque Rosario siempre
No sé, yo creo que
Tomorrow,
comía ahí.
maybe. You can, yeah, here.
Y a través
This is the transmission. Yeah.
fuera de
But
garantía, o sea, después
the
de
light
6
is
o 7 años,
down.
oye,
Maybe tomorrow I put the light here.
Es normal.
Okay.
Ya can use.
entonces, así es.
Muy interesante. Sí, claro que sí, gracias.
Ah, bueno. Vale.
Hay una especie de función.
Yo ya me iba a acabar.
Bueno, también.
También se lo puede hacer.
Ah,
Hay uno de coco. Tú los hiciste.
Claro,
Oh, sí, sí,
pasé
temprano.
toda la noche, y en la mañana lo horneé.
En la repostería, ¿no? ¿Y tú qué?
Yo sé
café.
Claro.
Mm,
Este le hicimos una
no,
canela de
todavía no ha probado eso.
Todavía no.
Ah,
bueno.
ya, un rato viene. En un rato viene.
No, en 5
¿Quién
minutos
hizo
que
la
arranquemos ya.
Esa también quedó muy buena.
Me encargó de la
¿Qué hizo, güey?
En un rato.
El agua. El café muy sabroso.
Llega mi preparación.
Colombiano muy sabroso.
Y yo lo busqué en Costco, cuando veo café colombiano.
Y ese de verdad.
Sí, ¿verdad? Pero, ¿sabes qué te faltó?
Algo de un
Tierno.
Tienes que tener leche líquida.
No conseguí,
Ah,
porque no había de la buena. Por eso no había-
Pero allá venden en el bulto, ¿no?
no,
Allá-
la compra pues,
allá venden 2 latas como la de la crema.
Ah, sí. Yo compré.
Sí la busqué, pero
porque si no,
Yo la compré en bulto de líquido, que trae 12.
después hubo 4 pues yo... Pues sí, a mí no me gusta la leche.
sí, pero era la oportunidad de que
No,
Pero ¿sabes que no?
Era la
dieta.
era la
Pero de Costco no.
Cuando pasé la foto, le iba a dar una... You want to watch a nice video?
Okay. So this is the one about the production line.
sí, y pues
So all the products on the different steps of production, they are tested. So there is a barcode and a test procedure. The printing is done by laser. At the end, there is a test bench when we completely do a check of all the functionalities of the product.
Sí, yo tuve la oportunidad de estar en la planta y eso es impresionante.
When I'm showing that video to some people, they're like, wow, as it is an automatic line, you might use a manufacturing plant in China to reduce the cost. No, that one is in France. Now our main factory, we have that complete automatic chain line of production there.
Okay.
Yeah, so we went through the single circuit. Wow, it's a good product. You have from the very high end with the 840, B10, B30, everything is plug and play, very good accuracy, communication features, very nice screen, touch screen. Well, it's a bit costly. Then you have the older generation where you have push buttons, you have some add-on modules to increase the performances, and it is accessible, more accessible when customers have a limited budget. All of that is good when you want to monitor a single circuit. Well, today, I think it's very rare when there is only a circuit to monitor. We are talking about an application when you have a mall that is 15 years old,
More
more than 15 years old, and so far they have to charge in each individual shop about maintenance and energy. Well, they want to split that. They want to have the maintenance on one side and the energy. Well, there is 60 shops. Are we going to install 60 meters? You don't have the space. It's very costly, and most of it's useless. why do you need 60 screens? You don't have someone every month that will stop by the 60 of them, which is a piece of paper. Well, that's good because Socomec, as a leader in power monitoring device, can you swap the presentation to go to the, okay. If you can use this one.
Sorry, I need to close the other one.
Ya no sé, porque lo sacaron, la tentación, ¿no?
What is this?
Yes. Well, so what Socomec has done, and it has been many years of development, but 4 years ago, 4 to 5 years ago, we launched a complete new concept of power monitoring. Okay, 25 years ago, you had all the different equipment side by side, a voltmeter and meter. Then Socomec, they have done the first power monitoring device in the world for single circuit. 15 years after, well, okay, it's been 15 years. It has been a very profitable market for Socomec. Energy efficiency is everywhere. We have to protect the planet. We have to make sure that we pay what we consume. We have to make sure that we monitor if the equipment are in good condition or not, etc. But after 15 years, well, the market is moving. People, they need new features. And Socomec, with our 10% in R&D every year, they have been working a lot. And we went with a complete new concept. So a complete new concept remains Darius, but it's DigiWare. Osvaldo, next one.
I'm sorry.
Power monitoring everywhere for everyone. Whatever you are, remotely, in face-to-face, for the facility manager, for the user, for the electrical guy. Yeah. So what happened is, what about if in your equipment you have many circuit breakers? Get back to the application in Mexico, 60 shops, one panel, a big switchboard, 60 breakers. You won't add 60 meters. Time consuming, you don't have enough space, and it's useless. So what if, instead of having 60 meters, you have one voltage measurement point, because the 60 breakers have the same voltage. There is only one transformer. And then you have one communication point. What happened, one communication point is from one computer, you want to have access to the 60 meters. And a single control power. Well, the meters need control supply. It's not free. It's coming from a power supply, which is somewhere. You don't want 60 of them. So what about if you have only one? So we reduce 60 times everything. So you save space, time, cost. You save everywhere. And that one is the DigiWare concept.
Okay. Bueno, él está hablando inicialmente de que habían 60 interruptores en un tablero y no podían poner 60 medidores. Entonces Socomec creó una solución a través del DigiWare donde tomábamos una sola medida de la tensión y tomábamos cada uno de los parámetros de corriente de cada interruptor. Entonces esto hacía que se simplificara tanto espacio, tiempo y costo en la creación de la solución.
Also, we don't care about the amperage. You might want to monitor single phase 2 amps load, but on the side, you might want to monitor the main, which is 6,000 amps. Same concept. Okay.
Otra de las cosas que él comentó ahí, que no lo pude decir en ese momento, es que todo se maneja a través de un solo bus de comunicación. O sea que toda esa información va a llegar a un solo punto de red. A diferencia que si tenemos todos los medidores para medir o lo conectamos todo a través de una red 485 y tenemos que crear un software especial para ver eso, o ir punto a punto e ir bajando la información de cada uno. En cambio aquí no, aquí nos conectamos en un solo punto y podemos ver toda la información de todos los seccionadores. Okay.
Multi-circuit monitoring. In that example, I have 3 loads. The multi-circuits monitoring with single circuit PMD. The A20 we were talking before, I need 3 of them. For each, I have to add the control power to energize the product 3 times. Do I need 3 power supply? Maybe. I have to add the voltage measurement, the 3-phase. They are all equivalent. So I have to do 3 times the same thing. Then current measurements, 3 times 3 CTs. And the communication. If I want all of them to be on the same network, I need to add 3 times the Modbus via RS485 or via Ethernet. Well, it's time consuming a lot. And also you need on the panel enough space to add 3 displays. Do you have it? Yes, no, we never know. With the DGWare concept, I only have 1 control power. Only 1. I only have 1 communication output. Okay? Then I have only 1 voltage measurement. So instead of doing it 3 times, I do it once. And then where I monitor the 3 loads is on the current measurements. So I add 3 modules. Each of them can monitor 1 load, which is 3-phase. And if I want to extend, then I just add 1 more current modules. You have 60 shops, 1 display, 1 voltage, 60 modules, instead of 60 devices like that. You imagine the difference? What we are saying at Socomec is it is more convenient to go from single circuit to multiple circuit when you have more than 3 loads. If you have less than 3, well, based on the cost, the labor, the space, it might be most convenient to use that. As soon as you have more than 3 loads to monitor, you will have some saving by using DGWare. Okay? The second difference here, everything is with a screwdriver. All the terminals, you need a screwdriver. As you need a screwdriver, you can make some mistakes in wiring.
Yeah.
Here, it's the concept of the plug and play with the RJ12 cables. No mistakes. And it's much easier to run an RJ12 cables inside a conduit than 2 wires.
Bueno, lo que le estaba explicando que, bueno, no necesita destornilladores para hacer la instalación de los equipos. Lo otro es, bueno, lo que les había comentado en la lámina anterior, de que cada uno de esos equipos se necesita poder poner el voltaje medida, el voltaje control, los sensores de corriente y la comunicación. Con este no, con este solo ubicamos un solo voltaje control, un solo voltaje de comunicación y lo que vamos a replicar son las corrientes. Ahora, va a ser mucho más fácil, no vamos a tener que usar destornilladores, sino que los cables son plug and play. Es como si conectáramos un RJ45 al router y del router al computador. Ahora, otra de las ventajas, uno ya como programador, tener la función de arriba y llevar eso a una escala, es yo saber cuál es la dirección de cada uno de los parámetros de los equipos que están arriba. Si por lo menos yo voy a leer 100 variables, yo tengo que replicar 100 variables en un código de programación por cada uno de los equipos. En cambio, con este equipo que tengo abajo, no. Simplemente me conecto y puedo bajar el mapa y el mapa me lo da en un protocolo de que yo lo puedo pasar a mi lenguaje de programación y me ahorro 4 horas de programación por estar escribiendo número por número. Entonces, eso es, a nivel de programación también es mucho más rápido.
Okay, if you can stop. Yeah. Okay, that video is why Socomec went from the single circuit to the DGWare concept. As I mentioned, Socomec invented the PND 25 years ago. So you will see all the different steps and why we went from this technology to that one. We were the first one. Went to the DigiWare concept, a single display with the control supply and the communication output. Current modules, different types, even that one. And the sensors, solid core, split core, flexible. So all of that, you will see that the design is very similar to all. They has been invented, produced at the same time. Again, 5 years ago, when we started that, we were the first one. The only one and the first one with many patents about the communication that is running through the different cables, about the sensors, about the single control supply. 5 years later, we now have some competition. Wow, we are 5 years advanced. And so they are not at the same level than us. So very flexible, multi-circuits, plug and play, accuracy. And as it is plug and play, as you just need additional modules, cost effective for everyone. Single screen, only one communication interface. RJ45 connection in between all the modules. You take the voltage once, and then you go to the current sensors with the RJ12 cables. And then you extend the number of modules. So the comparison we like to make in between DigiWare, it's DigiWare and Lego. You add bricks all together and you build your castle. Well, here it's not a castle, it's not that fancy, but it's monitoring, so it's quite interesting as well. And it's easy to build a castle with Lego, same with that. Different type of current modules. This one, you have 3 RJ12 inputs. So there is 3 sensors inputs. Something particular is the 3 sensors here, they are all independent, which means I can monitor a 3-phase load, but I can also monitor 3 single-phase loads. So I don't need one module per load. It's a combination of which type of load and the number of modules. This one has 3 inputs. If you continue the video, stop. Here I have 4 inputs. On top of the 4 inputs, I also have in and out.
You have one of these in the.
That's an example, this one. But if you continue the video, we also have some modules with 6 inputs. This one, which is very compact, you can have 6 single-phase loads. So you can imagine that in your control cabinet, electrical cabinet, that one is equivalent to 6 PNDs. And it's only the size of 2 modules side by side. So in terms of space, in terms of installation, in terms of cost, it's crazy the difference. So all of that, all plug and play. The accuracy is even better than what we were used to make in the past. It's class 0.5 for the complete system. And if you're thinking only about the meter itself, it's 0.2.
Ahí habla de los márgenes de error. De todo el sistema de 0.5 y solo el sistema de corriente 0.2. Ahora, esto no es que... Esto está certificado bajo una norma internacional que dice que esto es así. O sea, no es que viene eso como y dice, no, el margen de error es este. No, eso va bajo una certificación, bajo unas pruebas anteriores.
Cumple con esa norma.
Exacto.
So very easy to integrate. You start, the range for the sensors is from 5M to 6,000. But when we are talking about the sensors, I was saying that the accuracy is from 2% of 5M up to 120% of 6,000. So you can monitor with 0.5% accuracy from few milliamps up to 7,200 amps. You will see the example. I think the nominal current of the motor is up to 2 amp.
2M,
Yeah.
but they don't have load, and then now the current is less than 1 ampere.
So it's less than 100 amp, but the sensors here, we have one that starts at 63 amp, but we can monitor that it's 0.9, so 900 milliamp. So you really have the accuracy from 2% of 5 amp, which is crazy. When you have a 5 amp CT from whatever the manufacturer, the accuracy is from 100% to 120%. And so far, in 10 years, I haven't seen any guy having a current transformer that is not rated at the level of the circuit breaker. And you never use a circuit breaker at 100%. It's always overrated by 20-25%. So you never have the accuracy. With Socomec, you have it.
Y era lo que les estaba comentando ahora, o sea, que con los CT convencionales no cumple todo el rango de corriente que puede manejar el equipo de que es desde cero, por lo menos en este caso hasta, bueno, desde 5 hasta 6.000 amperios. Nosotros tenemos un medidor de 6.000 amperios y estamos leyendo 15, 20, 30 amperios y el equipo es efectivo leyendo esa corriente. En cambio, con los otros no. Tienen que comprar los CT de acuerdo a la salida de los interruptores. Y ningún interruptor la gente lo compra al 100%, sino siempre está sobre un 65, un 75 del máximo de la carga. Entonces, eso quiere decir que la corriente en esos casos no es efectiva. Y con este tipo de medidores sí va a estar cerca de un 98% de efectividad, quizás un poco más.
Circuit breakers. Go ahead, Oswaldo, sorry.
Okay.
Circuit breakers, you have the sensors. Solid sensors for new, existing installation split core. If you have big bus bar, well, it's not easy to have split core going around. You have the flexible. Well, very nice panel. You have some circuit breakers. So which is good is all the modules are DIN rail fitted. And as they are very compact, well, even if you have a very limited space available, you can add the modules inside. You don't need to have an external cabinet. Circuit breakers here, circuit breakers here. Here we have current sensors, another current modules, the second one. This one, 3 current inputs. Well, I have my 3-phase plus neutral breakers directly. Here I have 2 3-phase. Well, I have only 6 inputs here. So very easy. What's important as well is that the size of the current sensors, it has been designed to be the same pitch than the one from the current breakers. So it's perfectly aligned with the protection.
We have one of these. Yes, this. This in case the 3-phase. No?
Well, you will
Maybe
see
it's
the
there.
demo. We have all the sensors. And then you have the display. You may have another display, additional disconnectors, some circuit breakers. And so you run the cable in between all of that. And the blue one is the communication output that you can connect to a gateway. And that gateway, then you can push the data into different type of systems. The computer, the tablet, or your cell phone. So real-time monitoring. And as we record the data, we can do some analysis over the time. It is 100% made by Socomec. And so you have seen the production line for the meters. The sensors are also made in France. We purchased the company 15 years ago. They were used to make current transformers for, what was the company? For nuclear power plant, for EDF. And now they make current sensors. Their biggest customer, it's not Socomec. It's Schneider Electric.
Yeah.
Funny story, yes.
Oh,
So our companies that make the sensor, we are not the first customer for them, but it's Schneider. I think we are the second one. So really, as soon as you start to have several loads, 3 and above, this is the best option for everyone. From the guy that you're working with to specify, because there is some unique features, and that those unique features, they can be sold to the customer. From the guys that will install, it might be a panel builder, but it might also be a contractor on site. And for the user, because it's very easy, you don't have errors, you can remotely have access to all the data, etc. So it's there is something that will differentiate you from the competition in every different levels when you're trying to sell the product.
Bueno, lo que él dice es que tenemos diferentes oportunidades enfrente de los competidores para poder demostrar que, bueno, que nuestro producto es superior y en muchos de los sentidos mejor. Por lo menos tenemos la aplicación de data logger, tenemos que son modulares, tenemos el equipo de autocorrección. O sea, hay muchas cosas que nos diferencian de otras marcas y de repente, o sea, si tenemos, esto le digo yo, un incremento en el costo, quizás que se pueda, tenemos como diferenciar, ok, ya va, es verdad, yo soy más caro, pero tengo esto, tengo esto, tengo esto, tengo esto y tengo esto, y aparte de eso, todos mis equipos son certificados, y otra cosa importante, o sea, que un equipo que saque de Socomec no tengo que estarlo calibrando cada año, cada 2 años, sino que viene por una calibración de 10 años, ¿no?
Yeah, that's good. Some key advantages, very flexible. So again, because it's all plug and play and there is no limit to extend the functionalities and the number of loads, you have your customer, the Volkswagen plant. So far, they want to start to monitor, but only the machines that are very high value. So first year, the budget is limited. We install only 10 of those modules to monitor 10 machines. The year after, they see the added value of monitoring the equipment. Okay, they have 2 times the budget. Well, instead of having to redesign everything, they just have to extend, add extra modules, and they can monitor plus 20 machines. So even if your customer has a limited budget, well, you do step by step over the time with the same concept. Complete Socomec solution. So we provide from the sensors, the cables, to the modules, and also the software, which means you have an issue, well, there is only unique contact to have, Grupo MCB and Socomec. And we will support you. Okay, well, first, remotely, I can have access to all the data. I will tell you, well, this sensor is defective. You did something with it. Or, well, you're missing that or this. And it's much easier than having the current transformers coming from one manufacturer, the PMD from another one, and someone in between that have done the installation, but you don't know if it has been done properly or not. Socomec DigiWare, all in one, only one manufacturer, one contact. 2, Grupo MCBs and Socomec. Accessible to all. Well, I'm talking a lot about AC, but we also can monitor DC. You're in the renewable market, solar plant, energy storage, batteries, it's only DC, or telecom, only DC. Well, we have DigiWare modules that are DC design. And both can work together. On the same concept, you can have AC and DC together. Yeah, when you do the installation, you reduce by time, the time for installation. It means instead of having 4 guys, you might only need 1. Or instead of having 4 days, only 1 day with 4 guys. Powerful?
Sorry.
Yep. RJ45 cables and RJ12 cables. Much easier, and there is only one way. It's like when you have your internet box, when you want to plug it, there is only one way, so you can't make any errors. And the latest one is the size of the modules. That's crazy how compact they are. When you compare one of the diaries you have on the table and each module here,
I have one of the same 63 ampere in the lab. Is more or less this
Oh, yeah.
size, and the other one is
oh, that's easy. If I ask you what's the rating, the max rating of this one, what's the max rating of the sensors according to what you think?
Bueno, ese no, 600 amperios, 625 y 63 amperios.
That's good. But you have seen it before.
no, but I have a bit different about that, and the normal one that is a 63 ampere, and then the other one in
Yeah, you will see.
the normal.
Even the cities. That's right. It's a bit.
Pero está.
Yo creo que ese otro, ¿no? Sí,
Sí, apoyo los dos.
Muy bien. ¿Y qué les parece esto ahorita la presentación?
Bien.
¿Sí? ¿Los señores conocen a la señora Melanie? Perfecto. ¿También usted conoce a la señora?
No,
José Cherizola, servidor.
la directora de la empresa. El otro señor.
Tuvo que salir, cabrón.
Pues ni modo. Sí.
Este es 150, pero
Perfecto.
más o menos el de 63 es el mismo tamaño. Y este es 63. Y este es el núcleo abierto.
Sí, es muy diferente.
Y este es el normal. El normal es 63 es este. Este porque es núcleo abierto un poquito más grande, pero ese es el tamaño. ¿Ah? Es que depende del cable. Si es hasta 63 no puedes manejar los cables de manera más 63.
Calibre 2, eso.
No,
Ya es mucho.
Exacto, correcto.
Si tienen preguntas, ya saben, adelante.
No, that's good.
¿Y Erika?
Está en el seguro.
Ah,
Iba a llevar mis documentos.
perfecto. Ok. Ya llegó el reporte, ¿no?
Sí, eso lo iba a llevar en original.
Perfecto. Es un 25. ¿Ya que te dije? Muy bien.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, go. Same than before. What you can do, high accuracy, 0.5. So you're sure exactly that what you will see is what happened on the field. Multi-tariff management, and also pulses from multifunction meters. Multi-tariff, well, there is the shop in Mexico City, and they don't pay the same tariff during the day. Well, you can manage that directly in the software. Different type of meters. You may have gas meter, water meter. Well, there is some I/O inputs with pulse meters, so you can collect the information, and in the software you will identify that one, and so you can monitor all the different type of feeds that you have in the installation. Also, we have some displays where you have the gateway embedded and also the web server. So remotely, you can have access to all the data. Yes. Again, for assets management, when you have very expensive equipment, when you want to make sure that you do the maintenance at the right time, in advance and not corrective. Well, all the different meters right here, all the different modules, they have the same performances than all of that, and even better. We added over the time new calculations, a better accuracy, etc. You can do some power quality management because of the time of the product. So like the data is refreshed internally. I think it's like less than every millisecond. And so when you have some very short events, you can record those and add some alarms, etc.
Okay.
You can also manage the equipment. We have seen the functionality about knowing what's the type of protection and in which condition it is, number of operations, if your circuit breaker has tripped or not. Well, those functionalities are embedded in that modules.
¿Se entendió?
How does it work? How do you make the Lego happen? First is the display. So you can have an installation with or without a display. The display is like the brain. So within the brain, you have access to all the data instantaneously. And from one display, you go to each load one by one. So you can see the current from load number 1, you press a button, number 2, same button, 3, 4, 5, etc. Right here on top right, I have the name of my load. And I look at voltage, frequency, current, energy, etc. From my display, I also have the power control, which means the 24-volt VDC that is needed to energize all the modules. They are coming only to the display. And then through the cable, we will supply all the other equipment that are behind. And we have the communication output. Communication output is, you may have the products in RS485 in series, all of them one by one, but you can also create a complete network and having several modules coming into the single display. So 24 VDC, there is no dangerous voltage on the display, which means if the customer wants to install that one on the door, then they can open, and there is no 230 volt, nothing dangerous. So it's much better for the electrical guy. We can manage different type of communication, Modbus, Ethernet, Profibus, SNMP, and even BACnet. On some of the versions, we have the embedded gateway with the web server. And we can also automatically export the data via a secure server, FTP. So there is 3 versions, D40, 50, 70. This is low hand, high hand. The D40, you can access, you can visualize all the data directly from the meter. And it has RS485 output. The D50, you can look at all the data, and it has Ethernet output. So if you have a SCADA system, you can connect to the D50 and you will have access to all the data. The D70, you have the gateway and the embedded web server. So I would always recommend you push for the D70, and then your customer is doing some pushback. Well, okay, the D70, it has many functionalities. It's quite expensive. Well, I can offer the D70, D50, less expensive, less functionality. So this is the brain. Then we go to, okay.
Okay, es lo que dice que por lo menos en el D40 tenemos la funcionalidad de llevarnos todos los parámetros a un sistema SCADA. En el D50 tenemos la opción de igual pasar la información a un sistema SCADA y poder entrar a ver los datos, ¿verdad? Pero en el D70 tenemos las dos anteriores y aparte de eso, una salida Ethernet que nos permite tener acceso a un servidor web donde podemos ver todo y tenemos la funcionalidad de las alarmas, de enviar correos, de hacer todas estas funciones de las que estábamos hablando ahora. ¿Continúo?
Yeah, you can. I have the brain. Well, my brain is a bit limited. I'm not that intelligent, and I don't want the display. Well, I can have the same brain, but within a module. So if I don't want the display, because no one will stop by, then I can use the C31. And the control supply is coming here, and you also have the communication output. Very cost effective.
Okay. Para aplicaciones más sencillas, tenemos este equipo que es el C31, que es donde podemos poner un sensor de voltaje y varios de corriente. ¿Qué es lo que pasa? Que él tiene una salida 485, que es la que voy a llevar a mi PLC o a mi sistema SCADA para llevarme toda la información. No voy a tener las otras bondades, pero voy a tener todo el monitoreo de los equipos y la eficiencia de los sensores junto con otros. Aquí la idea es para, más que todo para programadores, para desarrolladores de soluciones, todo este tipo de cosas que almacenan toda la data bajo un sistema ya creado, no una plataforma de software.
Voltage module. One per installation or one for each network. You have two transformers, you need two voltage modules. Because the two voltage, even if they are very, very similar, well, they are different somewhere. So one voltage module per system. This is the unique voltage measurement point. Only one, so you reduce cost, space, labors. There is no dangerous voltage on the panel doors because the voltage is done directly on the module. Very compact. We have three types. 10, 20, 30. 10, 20, 30 is, the 10 is metering. I want to do some metering, energy, consumption, voltage, current, etc. The second one is monitoring. While monitoring, I want to go a step further in my application. I might want to extract some data. I might want to do some comparison. And the third one is analysis, where I have high expensive equipment and I want to monitor if I have some voltage drops, swags, etc. And so I picked the one based on the application. They are all the same size. It's only internally that the product is different.
Is the change in the processor?
I would say yes. I don't know exactly what are the differences. It's a different design internally.
Okay. Bueno, este equipo es el sensor de voltaje donde se toma la muestra de las tensiones. Es recomendable por cada transformador tener un sensor de voltaje. Aquí lo hicimos en el caso que estamos hablando, no es un transformador, pero sí estamos hablando de un variador de frecuencia que nos da uno una salida y otro otra salida. ¿Qué es lo que pasa? Que tenemos dos redes diferentes. La primera, vamos a tener el voltaje del primer variador junto con su corriente. Y en la segunda igual, porque los voltajes no van a ser los mismos. Pero en una red donde tenemos un transformador, el voltaje va a ser el mismo para todas las cargas. Lo único que va a diferenciarse son las cargas. Por eso es que vamos a duplicar los sensores de corriente. También comenta que está el 10, el 20 y el 30. El 10 solo nos permite ver lo básico, voltaje, algunos datos básicos de lo que es la medición. El 20 ya nos permite de que si hay un pequeño incremento en el voltaje, él como que nos crea esa alarma y nos almacena eso. Y el 3 sí ya es más específico, o sea, está pendiente, por decir, del rizado, de los picos instantáneos que son en micro o nanosegundos que no podemos ver con el ojo. El equipo es capaz de almacenarlo y transmitirlo. Okay.
What I would recommend is the U30 will have the performances of the U20. And the performances of the U10. As soon as you start working on the project, you start by the U30. If your customer is challenging you, well, part of the negotiation is that you go to the 20 or the 10. Current measurement modules. So we went from the brain, the arms with the U, then we need the feet. So you need current measurement modules. All of them, they have some current inputs that are RJ12 connectors. The difference is the number of connectors that I have. 3, 4, or 6. The class or the accuracy, 0.5. So very, very accurate. So quite easy. Differentiation is U3, I3, I4, or I6. And then the second digit will be about metering, monitoring, or analysis. That's the same. So you have quite a nice range to make the right selection. Which is good is on the current modules, everything is plug and play. The connection in between all the modules is RJ45 cables, and the sensor is RJ12. And to mount them on the DIN rail, it's plug and play. So this one for the installation, easy. Yeah.
Ok, aquí es básicamente lo mismo. Él nos habla del I3, I4 y I6. Aparte de las capacidades de entrada que tiene para conectar a los sensores de corriente que son plug and play, también tenemos diferentes visualizaciones de lo que es la corriente. O sea, cada vez vamos parametrizando más y teniendo más opciones para visualizar. With this equipment, we can have a harmonic and the TSD?
Yes.
Okay. Con all of them or only the last one?
It's all of them. You can have the...
O sea, con todo se puede ver tanto los armónicos como la corriente rizada.
And so different levels, metering, monitoring, and analysis. Each of the inputs is fully independent. So 3-phase load or 3 times single phase up to 6 single phase or 2 3-phase loads. And you do the combination.
Okay.
Sensors. Well, here you have solid core sensors. Right here you have all the modules. So you can see that we can have quite a significant number of modules side by side. Split core and flexible. Accuracy, well, very, very accurate, 0.5. There is 15 parts, and you can monitor from almost 0 amp up to 7200. RJ12 connections, which mean you can do on-load disconnection without needing some shorting blocks. The detection of the rating of the sensors is done automatically by the modules. So you don't have to make the configuration on your own. And it's very compact, and the pitch of the sensors has been done to match the pitch of a breaker. So when you have a design with your circuit breaker, you will see that it's like that, while the sensors at the bottom, they will be exactly the same. So you don't need extra space.
How does it work after an inverter? In order of the shape of the wave, in order, an inverter has it's not a very good, not a good shape of the. How do they work fine?
Yeah, so inside, when you have like the coils with the magnet, it's a all effect sensors. All effect sensors mean that the technology, even if you have many disturbances with very high level of harmonics, they won't have that impact. So when you do the difference between those two, the technology is way different. This is old technology, very cost effective, etc. This is new technology with all effect, and all the manufacturers are moving into that one, because even if you have a network that is highly um, uh, disrupted with many harmonics at very high level,
Yeah.
then you can monitor and you won't have any issues in the measurements.
Hay una diferencia ahí entre los dos equipos en cuanto a al procesamiento de la data.
La tecnología.
El procesamiento de la data referente a amperios es mucho más compleja que el procesamiento de la data en milivoltios. Que lo que pasa es que en milivoltios vamos a ver exactamente mucho más rápido la variación que en corriente. Entonces el equipo va a detectar, por lo menos en el caso de un variador de frecuencia, que él simula la onda, o no la simula, la hace con una tecnología PWM o por IGBT, como sea. Él lo que va a hacer que cuando ya la carga, que es el motor, esa onda, en lo que es la parte corriente, va a ser lo más parecida posible a una banda sinusoidal. En la parte de corriente no se ven los picos, quizás en el voltaje sí, pero cuando la onda de voltaje es más cuadrada y la onda de corriente es más circular. Entonces, como los sensores de corriente están viendo la corriente, no van a detectar si es una onda transformada o una onda original.
Sí, porque inclusive los amperímetros de ancho mienten muchísimo cuando están,
Sí.
o sea, cuando están midiendo.
Es un variador de frecuencia.
Es un
Sí.
variador.
También depende de la tecnología del variador, ¿no? O sea, ahorita los variadores que estoy usando son de 18 pulsos, eso no se va a ver. Hay que verlo con un osciloscopio y acercar mucho la imagen para verificar que es una onda.
Lo hay en todos lados.
Sí.
O sea, equipo viejo que hay que, bueno, aquí en México, ¿no? Llegas a instalaciones en donde hay cosas
Sí.
viejitas y hay que.
A nosotros nos tocó. De hecho, ese sensor es de una instalación que se fue a hacer un mantenimiento y estaba tirado en el piso. Esto sirve para demostración.
When we are talking with installation with harmonics,
Yes, in order of ancient inverters, so that we have to shape with them. We have to.
So what we have seen is when you have plants with many inverters or VFDs, they have a lot of reactive power. And reactive power is
Yes.
waste. And so people want to reduce that by having power factor equipment.
Yes.
When you want to install a power factor equipment, first you have to monitor. And what we have seen is Socomet, we manufacture power factor equipment in Europe. And the first thing we are doing when a customer is asking for which equipment should I install, is we go on site and we install our meters for like a week and we monitor all the harmonics. Every second, what's the level of the harmonic? And to do that, we use our sensors. So they are perfect when you have an installation with a lot of harmonics.
Okay.
That's a good example to prove you that
But in
they are the right
this case,
product.
it can be connected in the feed of the speed driver, not in the output. It's in the speed driver to see who is the harmonic. Go to the
the harmonic is reverse,
yeah.
and so you connect on the input of the VFD. Yes.
Okay. Bueno, lo que estaba diciendo es que por lo menos para poder ver los armónicos, esto se tiene que conectar aguas arriba del variador de frecuencia, porque lo que crea los armónicos es cuando la corriente alterna pasa por el puente rectificador y entonces son los rebotes y esos son los sweet and soft, no recuerdo el nombre, los picos de voltaje que van hacia la red y eso es lo que tiende a dañar los equipos electrónicos después de un variador de frecuencia.
Ajá.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead. Okay. Existing installation, customer may already have the CTs. And when they already have the CTs, they might not want to have to disconnect the cables or switch off the load. It's going to be quite difficult and expensive. What we can do is we can plug our sensors on the output of the 5 amp, and you can connect to the DG well. So it's working well by doing that. The accuracy is not that great because you have a limited accuracy here, but for retrofit application, if the current sensors or current transformer were installed 10 years ago, you can continue to use them.
Okay.
Indirect measurements.
Yeah. Bueno, lo que él dice es que ya una interacción existente que tenga los CT, nosotros prácticamente hacemos el puente entre la alimentación del CT, cerramos el circuito y colocamos el sensor de corriente. Ojo, hay aplicaciones de esto donde tenemos media tensión que quizás lo podemos hacer. Lo que pasa es que me va a decir que no, pero sí lo podemos hacer.
Son medición indirecta.
Sí. O sea, en donde tenemos media tensión, donde podamos medir corriente, lo podemos hacer sin ningún problema. Ponemos un sensor de esto. Obviamente hay que hacer como un cálculo de ingeniería para decir, ok, cuando esta es la corriente máxima y esta es la mínima. Cuando este está en 5 voltios, la corriente va a ser en tanto. Entonces, eso se puede arreglar y se puede configurar dentro del mismo equipo. No necesito un PLC, no necesito otro equipo adicional para hacer eso. Yeah. We can connect this in medium voltage, in the CT medium voltage? No. Okay.
Yeah, okay. So I have my module for the current, and I need 3 external sensors. Well, we have an option at Socomec is that the sensors are embedded inside the current module.
I have this.
You should have some, yeah. And so what happened is on the current module, you have 3 solid core sensors and you have to run the cable inside. So right here we have the 3 cables, black, blue, and gray, I would think, that are coming directly from the output of the breakers. So it's current modules with embedded sensors. The max rating is 60 amps. But that one will save you a lot of space. And also, instead of having the current sensors that might take extra cost, etc., is all embedded. What we offer is when you have a PDU, are you familiar with that PDU? It's like a load center. Well, you have your main breaker, 200 amp, and then you have a complete line of breakers.
Okay.
On the right, on the left, to distribute everywhere. And so you might want to monitor all those breakers. And you have 2 options. First, you have mini current modules, and you have all the sensors going over. Well, what you can do is, on the output of all the breakers, you install those, plug and play in series, and you monitor all the outputs that way. So it will reduce the size needed in your load center. Data centers. You have a room of data centers. What happens is you have a main, and then you have a bus bar coming from Starline, etc., those guys, and they will distribute to each server. Well, on the main side, you have a PDU. Well, within that PDU, when you have the input, we can install a Socomec device, Socomec meter. And so this one is a current module, and you have the input of the current sensor right here. And then you do plug and play in between each module. And here, with the LEDs, you have the information if there is some current or some alarm. And it's, you see, exactly the same pitch and the breakers, or fuse holders. Very, very compact. So the limit is the current rating, 63 amp max. So far.
Yeah.
But very easy, plug and play, very easy to install.
In fact, de hecho, hay interruptores de 63 amperios que son mucho más grandes que ese. Entonces, todavía el sensor es mucho más pequeño a las salidas del.
And when you have load centers, well, most of the time it's 20, 40 amp. It's not 60 or 100 or 125. It's the main that is 200, 400 amp, but then the output of the breakers is quite limited.
Yeah.
You don't need more than 30 amp for a building like this one for one office. Yeah. Okay.
That is the same.
Yeah, very compact, easy to install. You can communicate with all the other Socomec devices that are in the same network. The accuracy is 0.5.
Ahora, Imagínense para leer la misma corriente, ese tiene tres CTs de estos para una salida como esa. Y mucho más grande los sensores de corriente que el mismo interruptor.
And on this one, you also have the functionalities of the position of the breaker. It will tell you if it has trip or not, and also the auto correction. So you can see that on the marking of the product, there is P1 and P2, and you have an arrow. So normally the flow of the current is from P1 to P2. Well, we don't care. You can reverse if you want, and you have the auto correction.
Okay.
Different types
Between
to be mounted. There is a piece of plastic to do a DIN rail. You can do a back plate. You can directly, with some clips, directly mount it next to the cables. Underneath, on top, exactly the same pitch. And also there is an accessory where you can directly connect via the cables into the breaker. Okay, we have three versions. The 130, it's like the metering one in terms of functionalities. 135, it's metering plus monitoring plus analysis. The data center one is a bit specific as it is for single phase loads.
Okay.
That one is single phase and three phase, single phase and three phase, only single phase. And it is data center because data centers, they don't want only one module. They are buying by thousands of pieces. So we needed to differentiate to make sure that we can stay competitive. But those two are the main ones. Voltage detection. Well, the voltage detection is about saying that if you have tripped or not your breakers. When you're tripping a breaker, the voltage is having a specific form factor or shape, and there is a specific component inside that will detect that. So this is how we make the detection.
Bueno, que lo que tiene es tiene la capacidad de saber cuándo se abre o se cierra un interruptor, y lo otro es que nos va almacenando esa información. O sea, cuántas veces falló, cuántas veces abrió, cuántas.
And so, sorry. Here you have three of them. Oh, yeah. And you can see this breaker is on, this one is on, this one is off. The LEDs here are all red. It's because that one is off, so there is no voltage on the output. So you can also when you're walking by, you can make, oh, okay, I have an issue right here.
Okay.
And all of them are connected with a very basic RJ45 cable. So very easy to install. Yes. Okay, I/O modules. We are talking about different fluids that you may have in the plants. Volkswagen, they don't want only electricity. They need gas, air, water, etc. While with I/O modules, you have some inputs, and so you can collect all the data coming from external sensors. Any type of external sensor.
Este tipo de sensores nos da una variación en pulso, y eso se va almacenando un conteo. Estos sensores tienen la capacidad de hacer eso, y simplemente nosotros decimos, bueno, esta entrada de pulso es de agua. Entonces, el sensor nos da una relación, ok, 2 litros, o sea, cada pulso son 2 litros, 1 litro, medio litro, algo así. Nosotros simplemente dentro del equipo hacemos el cálculo y nos dice cuál es el consumo. Al igual que con aire. Bueno, con aire son 1 metro cúbico de aire o algo así, entonces se va haciendo el cálculo y ya nos da exactamente cuál es el consumo que tiene, al igual que con el gas y con cada una de las variables. Simplemente hay que saber la resolución del sensor y la variable que hay que multiplicar por la cantidad de pulso.
That's absolutely correct. So we have two types. Sorry. 2 types. 4 inputs, 2 outputs. It's basic relays. But we also have with 2 analog inputs, 0 to 20 amp or 4 to 24 milliamp, 0 to 20 milliamp or 4 to 24 milliamp. And you can-
Este sí ya lo podemos aplicar para ver niveles de agua en un tanque o presión de gas y esto porque las entradas analógicas no es por variante de pulso.
when you have a temperature with external probes, the output is in between 4 and 20 milliamp, where you can collect the data directly. And those, they also have the RGF45 connectors, so you just add them in series to your DigiWare Lego, you know? So it's only one module on top of the others. Okay?
Continue?
Well, this is the video we have seen before.
No.
Same than before. So we have the same functionalities, you know, the
Sorry.
accuracy,
That-
the accuracy, 0.5 everywhere, virtual monitoring, no need for auxiliary contacts on your circuit breakers anymore, and also the autocorrection. You don't care about the installation. If something is wrong, you can modify it directly by the software. So that was for AC. So AC is up to 500 volt. If you have medium voltage or high voltage, well, you need PTs, potential transformers to step down, and then you can also monitor it. Then we have a complete offer for DC. Swallow.
Sorry.
So for DC, well, you have some railways application. Everything is in DC almost everywhere. Telecoms, some data centers now are moving into the DC, and everything related to renewable energy, solar, energy storage, etc. Yes. So what happened is with the DS DigiWare, we can do AC, and on top of that, we can also add a complete DC measurement into the concept. And so from a single display, or even remotely via my computer, I will have access to my AC network and my DC network. Yes.
O sea, que tanto en el mismo display podemos ver la red en corriente directa como red en corriente alterna.
Same concept than the AC. I need a voltage measurement. So what we offer is a single module that is available up to 180 volt DC. If you have to increase that one, we have a plate that will adapt the voltage, and that one can go up to 1500 volts. So we can monitor DC from 19 volt up to 1600 volt DC. So everything about batteries, normally batteries start around 24 VDC and up to solar, which is 1500 volts.
Mm-hmm.
When you have UPSs or inverters, well, it's a conversion from AC to DC. Well, you might want to monitor the DC. Very compact and very easy to install. Everything is almost plug and play.
Okay.
Yeah.
This is like a regulator of the voltage DC. The
This one?
Yeah.
Well, it's a plate that will step down
Okay.
from 1500 to 180 to make sure that this one can read the data.
Okay.
Okay. Current modules, same concept than before. You have some current inputs, and then we have external sensors, DC sensors, 50 amp to 5000 amp. It is much easier. We only have two versions for the current modules, I30 and I35. I30 is used when you want to do very basic measurements. I35 is when you want to do some power analysis. When you're in DC, well, you don't have harmonics, etc.
TSD.
Nothing like that. So it's very basic. So, well, the I30 is way enough.
Okay, check.
Yeah, external sensors, we have two types, solid core and split core.
They don't have cable.
No, not for DC.
No, para eso nada más.
So Diris DigiWare, overall, it's a complete chain of many devices. DigiWare AC, the voltage and the current modules, the AC with the sensors, then you have the DC modules, DC sensors, you have some I/O modules for external meters, whatever. DigiWare S, if you have some application where you want to have the sensors embedded. And then you have the display with or without the web server. So the complete package makes your network fully available for all the different monitorings you want to do. So very compact, easy to install, cost effective, and very high performances. Well, WebView, same than before, real-time visualization of the data. You can do some monitoring, so you have the record of the energy up to 1 year. And then you can also do some export on a monthly basis, weekly basis, daily basis. This WebView software or web server, it is embedded in some of our products, not all of them. Okay, well, the laboratory, same than before. I think that's the video of the lab.
Is the same?
Okay, let's play.
Yes. Okay. Hands on.
Yeah.
That's much. So if you want to join me,
The cable, the red cable is there.
which one?
The cable.
Yeah, okay. Well, what's the installation? This is the installation made by Oswaldo. If you're not happy, you talk to Oswaldo. Well, what we have is we have two VFDs. Two VFDs with two motors, okay? On the left side, here, I have my first VFD, which is VFD left. Here, I have the same VFD, but on the right. Downstream to the VFD, I have some current sensors for the left, for the right, okay? Then, from my current sensors, I goes to the motor. So the current sensors are here to monitoring in between the VFD and the motors. Then, on top, I have two networks. I have two networks because I have two VFDs, so two different voltage. I have my main display, where I will have instantaneous value of everything. So the control supply or the power supply is connected to the display. And then from the display, I have my RG45, which is here, that is going to the first voltage module. First voltage module is taking the voltage reference here from here. And then in series, on the same chain, I have my current module that is taking from the sensors that are right here. Separately, then I have a second brain, which is a C31. That C31 is in RS485 to the display as well. So they are both in Modbus. And then behind my C31, I have another U module that is taking the voltage from here. In series, I have a current module. Current sensors are right here, so the second VFD. And I have a second current module where I was used to have my external sensors that I removed before. So I have my second external sensors. So it's plug and play. Just terminal. And let's say, okay, well, I want to monitor that. It's completely incorrect because here I have two different networks that I want to have on the same current module. Just an explanation. So I can add as many current modules as I want. All of them, they have some LEDs. The first one is to make sure that the product is on or off. The second one is if I have an alarm. Then, is there any communication going on? And then it's the pulse. The pulse is when you want to do some looking at the accuracy. And you know you have an external product, and over the time, You want to make sure that the accuracy is still good. You come with your product and you monitor that. Okay, so let's imagine I run my first VFD. I'm on my display. Well, right here, if you want to come closer, here I can see that I have VFD Lenzy 1. Lenzy 1 is my VFD on the left. I click here, I can look at, as an example, the frequency. I have 60 Hertz. I reduce the frequency because of the speed. You can see that instantaneously, the screen will refresh every second. So you don't see it instantaneously, but so I can see that it's coming. Then I can go like all my different voltage. So phase 1, I have 110, 171. If I change, then I can check the current directly. So I have the current on my three phase. I have no neutral, so I have 0. If I want to look at the power, I just continue to click. And over the time, I will see that I can go to the active power as an example. This is a VFD, so I have many harmonics, and that's why here I have a negative one. But if I continue, I go to the reactive and to the apparent. I want to go to the energy. Well, I have my total. Well, I think the product has been live for many weeks or months. And the partial, well, that one I refreshed it yesterday evening. And I will see that every 10 minutes or 15 minutes, I will accumulate even more. So it's increasing over the time.
And you reset all this information?
Yes. The total is only when you go back to factory setting, but the partial, you can do it whenever you want.
Okay.
So the total, we don't modify or we don't allow people to reset the total because it's if you want to do some cumulative information, the partial is enough.
Okay.
So you reset the partial, and every Monday you might want to put the partial back to 0. And so you can charge everything back from 0. Okay, well, I have my second VFD, which is on. Well, I don't need a second display. I just go there, and I can go from VFD 1 to VFD 2. And I can see back to the voltage. I think it went done all right already.
Yeah.
See? Let's imagine, well, I am missing one sensor. Then I have the alarm. I plug back my sensors. I don't have any more the alarm. If I have an extra load, I would be able to add that one. And so I can jump from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, whatever. So everything here is plug and play. I just plug additional meters one by one. When I go back to the main menu, right here, then I can also go to the parameters of the device. The password for SoConnect is always 100. Easy. And then I can see, okay, what are the products that I have on my network? And if I want, I can even make the configuration directly from the display. If I don't have a computer or nothing. I can also add some new device. As I said, you can extend the system over the time. Well, in 10 weeks, I will add one new module. Well, I just add my device and I pick exactly what's the address, etc. And I make the configuration from the display. If I have some I/O modules, I will be able to look at the inputs directly from here. Well, I have no I/O on my configuration, but I would have been able to.
You have graphics in you show some graphics?
Energy, you can look at instantaneous values, also average, and you can look at the graph. Here I can see that even if I have 0.8, I see that my nominal rating was maybe 20 N. So I'm using only 14% of the nominal. So it's very, very intuitive. And if I want, instead of using like the shortcuts that are right here, I can go directly to where I want. I want to see the power. I want to see my power factor. Well, right here, I can see my power factor. I'm on the first one. Okay, I will see the power factor of the second one. So it's much easier. You should compare like having one display where with those touch screen, I can go through all the devices, and having two with many push buttons, which are not intuitive at all. That one, I don't know, I think the engineering at Socomex have been very good to make the product, even for someone that is the first time. Well, it's easy to go through all the details. You're in the first page, it's a Socomex logo, nice one. Then you have your loads. Well, I have two loads, or three if I want to consider that one. Well, I pick my load. So then I go into the measurements. I want to see the voltage. I want to see line to neutral. I have my line to neutral. Very, very intuitive. So this is when all the parameters and all the configuration has been done. Well, first, you have to make the configuration. So to make the configuration against... Oh. Socomex has been not that bad. And we also have a software which is available online. And I need one cable. Where is the solder? No, it's also. Do you have the USB?
Lo estudiamos en una demostración.
No.
A la hora que te toque, quédate.
No, ese está puesto ahí para
USB.
Padrísimo comprar la experiencia.
Sí, pero eso es demasiado
Sí, sí.
Pero
Y en el manual, normalmente nadie. Ya ves. Entonces, o cuando configuras un.
Obviamente, a primera vista de no, porque tú conoces.
Well,
Una
as
vez
soon
ya
as you
tengas, ya dominas.
get a Socomex device, right here you can see that for most of them there is a micro USB port. And so within the product there is a cable. You plug the cable. Okay. And so if you go on socomex.com, you can download EasyConfig. EasyConfig is our software to make the configuration easily. Okay.
It's free. Ese software I have.
And it's also in Espanol.
Okay.
Okay. Well, I don't understand what I'm going to do, but
Gracias en español.
so then you click to get to device, and you refresh by USB, and you can see that right here, the first one, I have the USB logo right here. And so I can connect to my module. Here I have some information about the product. What is important is what's the address, the Modbus. Then I can go to the network. None of the info, you can modify it. Because the network is not coming from the current, it's coming from the voltage. So the product itself took the information from the voltage module. But what I can change is the load. So right here, instead of wanting the LENZ 2, I can say it's the VFD right 2. Here I can select what's the nominal current. I say 10. Well, I want 20. I can select which type of product is it or which application. Well, for me, it's HVAC. If I have an error in the voltage configuration, you know, they cross the wires, etc. Well, I can modify right here and also for the current. So Oswaldo did the installation and he did it wrong.
Okay.
See, so yesterday with Oswaldo, we checked the configuration and we modified it directly from the software. So if you look at the wiring, it's completely wrong. Good example. But we modified everything with the software. Well, then I can modify additional parameters. Okay, you have different type of credentials to access to different information. And so we were talking about the memory, remember? And you were saying, okay, how many days do I have? Right here, I can see that if I remove some of the information to monitor, I extend my duration. So automatically you have everything. And I can remove, etc. You can set some alarms. Well, I want the alarm to be activated when my current on phase 1 is above 6 amp, as an example. And then I can say, how do I receive the alarms? Maybe via the communication. I can play with the different tariff. This is an I-35. As it is an I-35, I can play with the inrush current to have some information. I can go to the parameters, and normally in the parameters, see, I can get back the partial back to 0. And so when I want to do some monitoring over the time, I just have to go there. Okay. Each time you do a modification, okay, what have I done over here? Each time I've done a modification, I have to download the modification into the product. So I'm pushing the data. And so on this one, I've done modification on the load, on the memory, and on the alarm. Yes. And the modification has been completely done. So with the software, individually, I can do the configuration of all modules. The C31, there is no USB because it's a standard product. It's just pushing the data out, so there is no configuration. On the D70, there is a micro USB on the backside, so I won't access. But which is good with the D70 is as it is the master. From the D70, I can have access to everything behind. So instead of going one by one, I just plug to my D70 and I will see all the modules. So I have easy config. What we have done with Oswaldo as well is that there is a communication output on the D70. That one is the IN with the web server. Okay? So I have Ethernet output. I will plug to my computer. So my D70, it has a unique IP address. Okay? And so I will make sure that my computer is on the same network. This is a bit special. I use that software because we have IT protections. But what does it mean now? Is I have this product installed in my building, and this cable is connected into the network of the building. From my computer, I go to a web page, and I will ping the address of the G70.
No era 5. 5.
No, so 5 is the IP of my computer, and 4 is that one, so we
No
have the
cuentan
same
en la
network.
misma.
And now I have access to the web server. And from the web server, I can monitor. And here you see I have my 2 different networks. Okay, I will go to the left. So right now, the voltage is 170 and it's 60 hertz.
This is the first.
If I go there, I have 179, etc. Now all the values I have here are all the same as on the screen. If I want, I can go to the current, and instantaneously I can see all the different currents that are the same right here. You will see it will go up. I can go to the power. So instantaneously I can see where I am. I want to see the power factor by phase as an example. I can monitor my energy. So from yesterday we already have done 230 watts. And if I have some quality, I can also look at the harmonics.
Perfect.
And if I want to jump from 1 meter to the second one, right here, I can do look at all the values based on different directories. So let's go to the second one. I have my summary right here. And I check the voltage. And I have the voltage of the 3 phase of this one. If I increase, at least V1 should go up. So this is for instantaneous monitoring, but I can also see my trends and my consumption. So which is good is I've done a hierarchies. And so if I go to my hierarchy, I identify that here this is the lab of Grupo MCB. And I differentiated the left from the right. And so right here I can see the 2 as a cumulative. So imagine you have a shop with the 60, well you can sew the 60, so you will have the total and then all of them. And if I want to see only one, well, I go to my hierarchy and I pick the one.
Esa es la forma que tiene el data logger de mostrarnos la información. Ya hizo la descarga de la data. Eso es un archivo de texto, pero ya después lo podemos transformar a Excel.
When I have my consumptions on the top right here, I can do some exports.
Te le entregan un archivo de texto y tienes que pegar.
And I have the information as an Excel sheet. So if I want to send it back to the tenant or the landlord, well, I do my export. So this one was only about Lenzy 1. But if I go back into my hierarchies and I check for the lab completely, right here. And if I make my export, see, I have all areas. So all of them, the cumulative, but I also have the left and the right. So if you have the 60 shops, well, one click and you export the consumption of the 60 shops. What happened as well is if I change my credential to be like the admin, all the different credentials and passwords, they are in the instruction sheet. Yeah. But I can like look at all my devices. Oh yeah, very important. If you remember when I was with EasyConfig, I changed the name of my load. From VFD Lenzy 2, I did something else. And so the gateway and the web server, it has detected that. And it's asking, well, there is a new configuration. So each time I modify something, I have to read the new configuration. And I have to apply. Okay, and I apply.
Yo tuve la oportunidad de usar un medidor de circuito. Lo fabrican en
Español.
Londres. No, en Londres creo. Yo lo compré en Londres.
Circuitor español. Marca española, sí.
Y no tiene nada. Yo lo instalé en una planta de tratamiento de agua en Venezuela. ¿Te acuerdas? El que hicimos para, no me acuerdo cómo se llama la planta esa. Y bueno, instalamos un medidor y, o sea, lo básico. Y me costó casi $1000 y no.
See, the name changed. It's no longer VFD Lenzy, it's only right. Anyway, if I go back here, I can look at all my devices. I can look at all the different circuits, so I can modify the use. And I can change the hierarchies I've done. There is another feature, which is photo view. Okay. Yeah, a good one.
Qué peligroso es.
This is my LinkedIn if you want to be connected. Well, what happened with photo view is that you can upload a picture, maybe a picture of a building, and then you can insert automatically the data. And so via the picture, you will see all your equipment and what's the consumption instantaneously. So for the user, when he has a building, he may have the single line diagram of the installation, and he will just add some of the meters. You remember, like 6 minutes ago, I removed one of the sensors. Well, I have right here. On this one, on Lenzy 1, which is this one, I removed one of the sensors and I had the detection problem. So you can see all the alarms. And right here, also the alarms about the detection, but it has been solved because I reconnected. So instantaneously and remotely, you have access to all the information.
What is the red linking?
Here,
Yeah.
it seems that there is an issue with one of the sensors as well. So what happened is, if I go to the alarms,
Okay. Let's see.
on this one is saying that I have a sensor detection problem. So one of the sensor or one of the cable might not be good, and so it's breaking. So I know that I have to go there and swap or modify it. And the alarm is on.
Para que lo entendieran.
It was part, it's part of the show.
It's part of the commissioning made by Oswald. And so you have another picture. See? Okay, let me swap in English. I'm sorry, but
Or
I have
French.
my-
Feel free. Feel free to make any change.
Let's imagine it's someone that is making the installation. And you want to make the configuration, but you're not on site. You don't want to have to use the USB cable. But you know that the D70 is on the network.
Okay.
Okay, so I will add a device. Let's say it's a equipos MCB lab D70. The type of product, it's a D70. I'm connected in TCP, so Ethernet, and I know his IP address. I already have it, so I will have to create a new one. So let's imagine I've never been on site. I'm doing that from Boston. Now I'm inside the D70. What I can do is, as the D70 is the master, I can make a discovery. And so it will be like that for 3 minutes, but after 3 minutes, it will automatically detect all the devices. And then from the communication, I will be able to go into each of one individually. So you can do the configuration at 100% remotely. Easy. It's 3 minutes. Because what happens is the D70 will try to contact each of them individually, and as it doesn't know which address it is, it has to do quite a long process. But you have to do it once. So it's good for configuration, but tomorrow there is an issue, and you don't want to go on site to figure out, well, you can do it remotely. And you can do some modification as well. And I'm out of battery. Do you have questions?
Magic? That's incredible. I have been in this business for more than 30 years before you all were born.
Gracias.
And, yes, of course, yeah. And when I started all this, everything was analogic. All the refineries, Tulas, Salamanca, I was involved. Everything was analogic. It's incredible. I love this. I love this.
La idea de nosotros es como le estaba comentando ahora, o sea, si usted tiene un cliente y necesita una aplicación, nosotros la desarrollamos aquí, el cliente viene acá, la verifica, ve que le funciona y obviamente va a ser todo diferente. Porque si nosotros le ofrecemos esto, estoy seguro que otra marca no le va a ofrecer lo mismo. De ver el producto, de tocarlo, de analizarlo, tal, si me conviene voy a comprar. Así hay una diferencia de precio, porque lo que hay que demostrarle es la diferencia. ¿Cuál vas a comprar? Un Snyder. ¿Qué te ofrece Snyder? Bueno, vení para que veáis qué te ofrece esto. Ahora, busca que te muestre bien la de Snyder a ver si es lo mismo. No es lo mismo. ¿Qué vas a comprar?
Es que aquí en México lo que yo siento, por eso de los precios de Alemania, lo que siento es que aquí en México muchas veces el tema es el precio, ¿no? La gente ve mucho el precio. Y muchas veces
Se van por precio y no por calidad.
No tienen miedo a lo nuevo.
Tienen
miedo a lo nuevo. No,
Entonces, si
yo
tú traes
con
los
mi
clientes para
dona
acá,
de 100 a 5 amperes, es difícil el convencer.
Correcto.
Son
Pero
las
yo
dos
creo que
cosas.
si lo ven en vivo, cómo funciona y todas sus ventajas, creo que es mucho más fácil.
Sí, definitivamente. Entonces, No había ni PLCs.
No, es que no hace falta. No, es que... Ah, ok. No, pero para todo lo que hace el equipo, no hace falta un PLC.
No, por eso, cuando yo empecé no existía nada, no había nada. Entonces es maravilloso, me gusta mucho esto de la tecnología. Trato de vendérsela a mis clientes. Cuando empezó la Marina, ellos querían arrancadores tipo autotransformador. O sea, para arranque de motores.
Eso es un arrancador suave.
Pesados, igual, oye, ya hay equipo electrónico, o sea, lo que la Marina le interesa es achicar y aligerar. Cuando les digo, oye, vamos a meter un inversor, un arrancador suave. Se los hice, usan.
No, y
ya
ahorita...
que vieron que servía, ¡boom!
Y eso ha cambiado mucho, porque por lo menos cuando arrancaron los variadores de frecuencia, arrancaron de 6 pulsos.
Sí,
Después de 12, 18, que no generan armónicos. Ahorita este es 16, 24. Si no estoy seguro es de 66, 68. ¿Por qué? Pues no es que tiene 8 diodos, 66 diodos. Simplemente es que tiene una... ¿Cómo se llama? No, eso se llaman IGBT. Bueno, es un diodo, pero tiene la capacidad de replicarse. Entonces, ¿qué es lo que hace? Que el armónico es lo más pequeño posible, ni siquiera se ve en el... Entonces, y un equipo de estos, comparado con un ABB, en realidad el equipo es mucho más económico que un ABB. Y fíjese, ¿dónde está el... La tabla está...
Marina también, indicadores digitales, obviamente que es 440 de vuelta, 2 está 439, 441, 440. Y llega un almirante y dice, está pésimo. ¿Por qué?
Este es el variador de
Te
frecuencia.
está detectando.
Me voy a conectar al variador de frecuencia. Aquí voy a ver todos los datos del variador.
Pero no te detectaba los movimientos mínimos.
No. Sí.
Hija,
También lo vengo.
está
De
más
hecho,
regulada la
nosotros hemos hecho
corriente, el voltaje está variando mucho.
Ahorita estamos en un proyecto de carga en la laguna y vamos a
Y que
calcular
actualizan.
que solo vendemos nosotros. Nosotros nos enfocamos en pura tecnología de
Almirante, mire.
la frecuencia donde está.
Ya te puedes
si es el
explicar
trabajo.
1000 veces, pero como están saturados,
Ya tienes que llegar con los de más abajo y ya que sube
Baja la frecuencia.
No, es difícil. Pero los tienes que casi
educar.
una patada.
Aquí tengo la lista de parámetros, las las entradas que están aquí.
No, pues no, pero internamente.
Si quiero ver gráfico, el equipo tiene osciloscopio,
Por favor,
todos los juegos. Aquí lista de parámetros, voy viendo parámetros por parámetro. Los diagnósticos, motor, me da la frecuencia, la amperaje, unidades. ¿Cuántas unidades por minuto? Unidades la vuelta. Entonces, por lo menos, si yo quiero que ese mismo variador sea use un motor, un servomotor, yo simplemente le agrego el lector y ya el equipo me trabaja con un servomotor. O sea, le puedo decir 3 grados a la derecha, 1 grado a la izquierda y él hace ese funcionamiento.
So just one more thing, what we have seen in the past with DigiWare is that it's a Lego. And so Lego, you need to start somewhere. And even if the product is very, very intuitive, making the right selection of the product might be not that easy for the first time. So we have an online tool, which is a meter selector. It's free. And so that one will help you to go step by step in the configuration. Let's say,
Que hay una plataforma en internet, que en la página de eso cómo la podemos conseguir, que ahí es donde creamos los proyectos. Por lo menos ustedes me pasan el unifilar de las caras que tiene y nosotros lo desarrollamos ahí. Él nos entrega un diagrama de cómo van los equipos, cuántos sensores, cómo es la comunicación y nosotros le entregamos el plano, así se instala. O junto con la cotización ya van los productos, cómo van instalados, la cantidad de cables, la cantidad de todo, ya lo entregamos de esta forma.
so first, the name of my project. Then I have my panel configuration. Well, here I have only one panel. And then I click. And I have, do I have Ethernet connection available? Yes. Do I want web server? Well, yes. And I want real time plus the data. Do I want a display? Yes. Do you have any DC loads? No. How many free phase I have? Well, I have only 2. I have no single phase. Up. And then I have the section. So I have 3 phase. Mine are solid core 20 amps. 2 times. Which type of measurement do I want? Monitoring, metering, or analysis? Well, I have a nice budget. I want everything. Okay, everything is inside. I'll just go to my next step. Here I can make some adjustment. So which is good is now I can see that I have my D70, my output network, the power supply, U module, and my 2 I modules. Where I might want to make the customization is about the length of the cables. I don't know, my panels might be very big, and maybe I have one breaker on the top left and the other one on the top right. So each time I have something in blue. Okay, here I can edit the length. Well, I want 0.5 meters. So I verify that everything is good. Here I have my 3 times sensors. Then I just go next step. Okay. What's your email, Osvaldo?
Osvaldo O W punto Marquez MAR point
After Osvaldo's point.
U E
C.
yes.
C.
Z?
Sí, azul.
Net.com.
Estoy viendo muchas películas españolas.
Right. Okay. Okay, so the result are sent to your email.
Okay.
You want to open your email, Osvaldo? So you can do it on your own.
Okay.
What will happen is at Socomec Inc., we will receive a notification and then we might contact you.
Fine. Okay.
Can you share the email?
Yeah.
¿No?
Si crecemos más.
Ahora, pues igual y sí. Igual y sí.
Entonces. Eso es.
Okay, so Osvaldo received an email
Okay.
with a PDF.
Ah,
So you have
yo me
few pages on the PDF. The first one is you have a copy of the single line diagram. And if you scroll down, so you have the name of the project.
No. Ahorita
When
porque
it
lo
has
envió a
been
mi
done.
correo. Por eso llegó ahí.
Pero ya lo abriste.
Eso es lo que está viendo el archivo.
Es que le llegó ahí la información.
Este es el archivo que me llegó a mi correo.
Y como dice David, como ellos ven, le da una notificación que ustedes se metieron, obviamente los van a contactar. Y pues otro apoyo, ¿no?
Then you have the bill of material, so the part numbers, the description, and the quantities. And here you have directly the list that you can send to a distributor someone else.
Now we asking for the electric scheme. We do that and put with the quotation. When
Yeah.
we send the quotation, we have everything in the.
Yes,
Everything is inside.
is the first step for one project.
Yeah.
After that, we can come with you and
Yeah.
take the small ones.
And so if you go up then on socomec.com or socomec.us, you have resources, and based on the part numbers, you can download some product data sheet or catalog pages, and you have the full package that you can send to your customer or the person you are working with. Everything
Okay.
online.
Do the information is in Spanish?
We do have some.
Okay.
No,
There is a
in,
Spanish website as well.
en la página. Usted puede bajar todos los equipos, toda la información en español. De hecho, nosotros la tenemos y la podemos hacer llegar si quiere.
Que luego es otra. que no hablan español.
Por eso estamos aquí.
Ok.
Solo me envíen un recordatorio. Para yo saber cómo se les llega la información.
Ok.
Pues, si quieren tomar una foto ahí con el equipo, si desean.
Creo que sí veniste.
Exacto, para justificar.
Sí, sí.
Yo no tengo,
Con el protagonista.
yo no tengo que mostrarlo porque la jefa está aquí. Pero bueno.
Exacto, pues sí. El protagonista.
Pase adelante, pase.
No, uno por uno.
Uno por uno. Después
No me creen que vienen.
no por la empresa, pues. Voy. Otra vez que esta salió muy bien.
¿Y qué le digo? Sí, porque creo que...
Sí.
Para eso es
Hands on, ahora. Ah, mira, sí.
Sí sirve.
Sí, sí.
Es de verdad.
Más, lo hicimos transparente fue por lo de la foto. Cuando tomamos la foto desde aquí.
No lo vayas a subir a Facebook, ¿eh? ¿Eso hasta qué corriente tiene
Esta con 63.
¿Es la máxima o hay más
No, ya es 63 cambió de tamaño.
por los...
Pero tampoco es mucho la diferencia.
When you have 15 different,
Yeah.
you have one by one, or you can go to the number
Oh,
35.
no, estoy llamando, que tengo la
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, when you start to have many of them,
Toda la luz, se rebota.
Yes, of course.
but yes, you can. Right here, you just go
Ya, Rosalí.
each of them.
Ahora tienes que
Of course. So here you can't touch, it's only the buttons.
salir aquí en la red.
A little again.
Sí.
And this one is IP rated, so you can even have the display
Voy a parar la.
on the top. I think 65. So if you need for an accessory, there is a gasket. I think it's about IP52. Type 2. If you want 65, there is an accessory,
Okay.
like a plastic cover to increase. Yeah.
Okay.
No me vas a creer, la transmisión 4 horas